Floor's yours, Jakey.
Three wins, 6 losses. How did we get here? This season was supposed to be different. We had hope, we had fire, we had dreams of rising above the mediocrity that has haunted us for so long. Yet as the weeks pass, my friends, those dreams slip further away, like sand through our fingers. And then Hawthorn, a match that should have been our redemption, a beacon of light in this storm of despair. We fought, we scraped, we clawed our way through every quarter. For a moment, just a fleeting moment, it seemed victory was within our grasp. But then, my friends, in those final seconds, fate dealt its cruelest blow. 5 points, just 5 points stood between us and the taste of triumph. The siren blared. Sorry, I'm tearing up a little bit. And with it came the crushing weight of another defeat. Our hearts, once full of hope, now with heavy sorrow. The players gave everything, their sweat, their determination, their very souls left on that field. Yet it wasn't enough, not this time. But we must, for this is St Kilda. Our journey is fraught with trials, our path steeped in hardship, yet through it all, we remain steadfast. We hold on to the belief that better days will come, that the spirit of the saints will rise again. Tonight, though, the sadness lingers, a heavy shroud over our hearts. We mourn what we've lost, but we look to the horizon, ready to fight once more, because in every saint burns a fire that refuses to die, a resilience that defies defeat, and so we march on. Welcome, everyone.
Amen.
Welcome to Footy Abroad. That was... Why didn't you play that through the bloody monologue? That would have been good. Should have got some like violins. Got some violins. You know what I mean?
I can add that. I can add that and drop it tomorrow. There's no problem.
That is the that's my challenge done for the week. But apparently I've got to host the show, boys. So welcome everyone. In the comments, if you had no context and you just tuned into that, well, that would have been interesting. But we've got the boys, just the three of us tonight. We'll open it up to fan cams later on, no guest. Boys, Terry, Luke, how are we?
What's going on? Good, mate. Always good after a win, to be honest.
Yeah, is it? That's good. It's really good. Terry?
Nah, it's good. It's been a good start to the week.
Sorry, what was that?
How are you, mate?
Sorry, mate. That was really good. That was really good. Like seriously, really good.
Thank you. It took a few minutes to write, but
I'm going good. Had a solid win on Thursday night, so got to sit with the win for it felt like a long weekend, and I'm just, to be honest, I've been excited for this show from like midday, so I'm glad we're here.
Well, what's so exciting? Is it just because we've hit the ground running and it's a fun show? Is it because you're on the winners list again? Is it because you knew you weren't hosting? What's the reasoning behind that?
I just love this show. I genuinely enjoy this show. Also, this is actually a stitch up because you're hosting, but I'm pushing buttons still. So
I was gonna say I can't get fans on. I can't pick which comments pop up. You've still got the majority of the control. You could boot me any moment. I can't do anything apart from just sit here on camera and talk shit.
I will not be booting you from this show tonight, my friend.
I just want to go through and see some of these. Yeah, okay, fair reaction. I forgot this was a punishment. Tough episode ahead for Jake, I sense, from Cardi. Absolutely. And you know what? It's deserved. It's deserved. Up the pies. Why, Jake? Why? Best footy show. Good on Jake for fronting up, mate. Have I ever not
Yeah,
fronted up,
that's good.
boys? Honestly.
It's true.
I've done reviews after 100-point losses. So this is easy for me.
Do you guys get? I mean, Luke, you want a premiership, so like maybe this doesn't apply to you because you've been winning a lot. Jake, do you find it easier to deal with losses because you've dealt with so many of them? Like I'm the same. Like I've dealt with the worst of the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I don't know if it's because of the frequency or because of the fact that I do the reviews now, and that helps. Like, kind of just forget about it. It's kind of like if I didn't have that, I'd be mulling over it for more than I probably should, which is what I used to do before the channel anyway. So, I don't know if you ever get used to losing. You know, I don't feel like it's something anyone ever. Or do you think you do? You think you can get used to losing?
I don't know if it's get used to losing, but I think it's you get better at dealing with them.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
One might argue that dealing would be the fan cams and the reviews, I suppose.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah.
like when the Pies went 0-3 to start the year, that was different. We hadn't lost 3 games in a row since like I want to say 2021 maybe or 2020, and so that was a bit of a slap in the face. But yeah, you're right, Terry. It's about learning to like how to deal with it the most. It's always it's finding that little, and you probably would have felt it this weekend, Jake. Like I know you still lost, but there's always something in a loss where you can kind of you just grip it. You just have to hold on to it. Say, oh, we got smashed, but John Noble is back and he's out for revenge. He played outstanding. And you kind of take that into next week. And then it's John Noble and Lockie Sullivan debuting and kicking a goal. Then you take it on to next week. So it's easier to build a little bit of momentum. That's what we did after 3 losses in a row. So it helped a little bit to find that little positive. Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
Oh.
Teresa is a Collingwood supporter.
Well, it's definitely not a Sainer, that's for sure.
Not a Sainer. Teresa,
We've been good for too long. We're due.
must be a Collingwood supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just go around quickly. I know we do it most weeks, but just give me one word to describe, I guess, that your club is at. You know, the win on the weekend.
One word? What the hell's that about?
I want one word. I'm a very concise. I'm the host here. You shut up, all right? I'm running the show tonight. This is how we roll. Okay, there's a bit more attitude, a bit more spice. Just
because you lost doesn't mean I have to explain it in one word.
All right. We'll go around. I've got one word. I'll start. Typical. That's my word. Typical. Nothing new. Same old. Absolutely. Every Saints fan would agree with me. That game is exactly the same way we've lost so many times over the last 2 years. So, bad kicking, coming from behind when we've let the team jump us again, kicking 53 points in good conditions. Are you joking? 7 goals, 11 for the entire game. No one wins. I mean, it's damning that Hawthorn won by 5 points considering we only kicked 7 goals. That's the only issue Hawthorn has. Yeah. But for us, it's just the same old stuff. Same old mistakes, and not treating the game with the respect, going into it fairly complacent. So, typical is 100% the word that jumps out.
Do you think that, because you said complacent, do you think that the boys sort of went in, and can you sort of tell if they go in and thinking that they're going to win, as opposed to just, going into a game where they're underdogs and they sort of perform better? Can you kind of sense that? I can get that from Collingwood, but do you guys sense that as well from your teams? That they're off a little bit?
Yeah, 100%. I've sensed it. I mean, the Richmond game, gather around, was exactly that. We had to come from behind. Richmond, I think it was like 28-7 at halftime or something. Like, it was ridiculous. We were lucky we were playing Richmond because any good team would have had us down by 50 at halftime. And you could tell we were off. It's those little defensive efforts, those second and third efforts. It's not the first effort. It's just what happens after that. When the first tackle's broken, is there going to be another player there to bring the player down? Or is that player just going to be running into open space? It's just little things like that you see a lot more in those games. And we've done it against Richmond, not really against North, but Essendon the second half, I feel like we thought we were there because we were ahead for the whole game and took it for granted, coughed it up. So, yeah, I think you can definitely sense it for sure.
I asked you when I watched the fourth quarter of the Port game, because I'd missed the first three quarters, came home, I was at dinner, came home, and I remember saying to you, like, is there a belief? And then I watched the entire Hawks Saints game. And I think I've definitely got a differently vested interest in the Saints and the Pies now. I watch it a little bit differently now because of the show. And I found myself saying, like, go, go, believe, like, do it. And I'm like, what is it? Why don't they believe? I don't get it. I actually don't understand it. They're all there. Especially, I see it anyway. I see them all there.
It's and you can't say people will say it's a historic thing, it's our culture. That's just it's bred into the walls of Moorabbin, but it's a new crop of kids. And that's the worry is, I'm not jumping the gun and saying the year's done. Some people have said that, and that's fair enough. 3-6 is tough to make it from here, but I still have a slim chance. But
you can make it.
Why, the same players from last year that were hitting the ground running, the youngsters, full of life, very second guessy now, very unsure of themselves. It's I don't know if it's just second year blues for some of these players, but hopefully we can turn around against Freo. And I think Freo is the worst opponent to be coming up against now. It's at Marvel, I get it, it's good, but Freo is defensively sound. It's one of those games where you're like, this can't, like, on what planet is this going to be entertaining? Saints Freo under the roof,
Yeah. I just don't see instinct. It actually reminds me of Carlton last year. It was like we were thinking for too long before it clicked. I don't think you guys are. I don't know. I don't watch enough for St Kilda to have an opinion. I just found myself like almost barracking, like, go, do it.
And
you're
on the
better
flip
than
side,
them.
and on the flip side, I'm watching Collingwood, and even though it was West Coast, you see a major attitude difference. Even just like the most basic smother, the most basic thing on the football field, and just the goals. When they kick a goal, Collingwood, it's like every goal is to win the grand final. Like, there's so much energy, there's so much love, there's so much camaraderie, and just fun. They're just having fun. And I feel like maybe we're not at the moment. So we're just going to get back to enjoying playing footy. They always say, go back to the basics when you're out of form. And I think we've overcomplicated things, like you said. So we're going to go back to basics this week. Fingers crossed.
Fair.
Yeah.
Luke?
You
read the game so well.
Well, thankfully I don't have to wear a they scored the first goal and I go, fuck. I'm gonna have to wear a jersey. Here I'm trying to remember where I had my uncle's got the spare Carlton jersey that I used last time on Pommy's show. But yeah, no, it was good. It was always, and in my review I said it as well, these sort of games always trip me up. Like, I'm not sure about any other Collingwood supporter, but it always can go one of two ways. It can go like it did, or it can just flip and go a totally different way. Understandably, they had a lot of players out. We keep getting injuries, so that's not fun. But I'm very excited because there was a lot of talk about Collingwood's depth and how these players are going to get in. The VFL is not going too well. And we don't have, I don't really know about your depth players, but we don't really have those big names in the twos waiting to come up. We've got just really young kids who haven't been getting a game. And the positive in, like, I think we got maybe 14 injuries. And the positive in that is that we get to see, I call them the VFL Avengers, Reef McInnes, Finn McRae, Lockie Sullivan, Harvey Harrison, and Joe Richards. Players that wouldn't get a game, like Richards and Sullivan, had it not been for these injuries to DeGoey and Mitchell and stuff. And they're coming in, and it's just it's like systemic, like what they're doing, where they come in, they know their role, And you don't miss De Goey, you don't miss Mitchell because someone's doing that role for them. You're not just waiting for Dan McStay to come in and kick 4 goals a game, because you have Reef McGuinness kicking 3, Finn kicking 3, Bobby kicking, Lipinski, who isn't a half forward, kicking goals, So I'm very excited about, even if it's not this year, just the future of bleeding these kids through these sort of teams in this sort of start of the fixture where, we had West Coast, Adelaide, I think we have Fremantle and the Doggies. So 4 very winnable games, and you get to blood these kids, like, because I'd rather blood them now than against fucking Carlton in round 20 or Melbourne in round 24 when you really need your players who are going to be playing finals having a good run at it. So yeah, it's very exciting, and the West Coast game, it was good to just, especially after last week, which was good to just sit down and just watch a game and not have to enjoy my sausage roll, and not have to worry.
No final siren video of you getting
No,
ready.
Nah, I went with my cousin this week because Dad wanted to stay with Nunna for Mother's Day. So we were just chilling out, having a couple of gin and tonics. That was good fun. No jumping up and down at Marvel. The roof wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, nice.
What about you, Tez? Good win.
The Blues, yeah, it was a great win. The initial reaction after the game, so on the fan cams, I reckon the first 20 minutes, people were angry at the club, angry at the boys. I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a different mindset. I just think I don't forget where we've come from and how dog shit we were. And so I understand that, you can't be letting leads slip like that. You can't flirt with danger. But at the same time, we're playing the Ds and we were not favoured to win the game. We started perfectly, maybe the best quarter of footy I've seen the boys play with the combination of offense and defense. It wasn't until that Wayne Harms-esque goal from, Varney tapping it to Windsor, I think that's when I started getting a little nervous, but I really do think that was a good win for Carlton. And we're currently in the midst of, it seemed like we were starting to get out of a bit of an injury crisis. I'll touch on that shortly, but I mean, I'm just happy to get the win. GWS, Collingwood, GWS, Geelong, Collingwood, Melbourne, Sydney. It's a tough stretch that we're in at the moment. And also, it was the 3rd game in 12 days, which every team's lost this season.
Every team's doing now. Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know. So for you guys, external, no Carlton, no care factor for Carlton. Would you say it was a good Carlton win, or would you say, oh no, they nearly choked it?
How
did you watch
it? I think it's a mixture. I think it's a mixture of both. So I watched it. I watched it all. I thought like that last couple of minutes, Carlton. What do they call you guys? The cardiac Kings or cardiac Blues or whatever they call you guys now. So last year you would have lost that, I feel, but now you're knowing how to play those minutes, how to play until the final side, stop the ball if you sort of need to. But against a team like Melbourne, I thought last year you would have, or even a little bit earlier in the year, probably would have got done. But I thought it was a really good win. I think it says a lot about Melbourne as well. It was hard. Yeah. It says, Carlton shouldn't have choked that lead. They should have smashed Melbourne, and Melbourne shouldn't have let Carlton get out to that much of a lead to begin with, because they're, in the top 4, if that's how you want to sort of see them. So I think it was even peggings, but it was a really good win, like against fucking Melbourne, who are steaming home as well. So
yeah, that's how I saw it as well. 2 good teams going at it. One team had momentum, took advantage, created a bit of a lead. The other one got momentum, took advantage, stemmed the bleeding, almost pinched it. Final siren goes, and you're like, those are 2 top 4, top 5 teams going at it. That's a fair result. Next time they play again, it's probably going to be a very close game. I mean, the last 3 or 4, I think, right? They've been under a kick. Isn't that?
Yeah.
You had the final, the one before.
Quite a few of them, I think, almost
quite a
the
few.
last.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no surprise that, again, that game finished being as tight as it did. And, I mean, I wouldn't, if I was a Carlton fan, I wouldn't really focus too much on letting that lead slip. I would probably give a bit of credit to Melbourne and see how they managed that situation. There's probably errors in there, like every team, though, but Melbourne exploited them and took advantage of them like a good team does. So I would, and it's any win before the bye, you just notch and you move on, right? You're building for the back end of the season. You're not building now. You're not peaking now. So anyone that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater after beating Melbourne by a point, just relax. You're doing all right. That's how I would say it.
Pommy, hello, mate.
Pommy's in the
Mohammed,
house.
please, when the fan cams are on, come on and tell us about which free kicks that the umpires helped us get over the line. Please, I would love for you to come and list them for me. It would be my honor to hear you detail every single one of them. My friend. Please.
Oh, yeah. It was a tight game. It was a tight game.
The other part was if you guys are down for entertainment and Carlton meltdowns, just type in Carlton Twitter on a Tuesday night at about 6 to 6:30 p.m. when the injury report comes out. It is everything. It's everything. It is unbelievable. Now, to be fair, we had a couple go down. Cottrell's done a stress fracture in his navicular. Chera, we knew about the hamstring. The interesting one was Hudson O'Keefe, who, to be fair, probably won't play anyway this season. I went to the open training session on Sunday and I saw how he did he did a high-grade hamstring strain. He went up for a specky on the specky bag and landed, and that's how he did his hammy. And it's like, what are you supposed to do? Are we banning specky practice now?
Yeah.
I know. At some point, they're going to be like, all right, we're training once a week, and that's recovery and a couple of handballs and run-throughs, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, I've just Googled Carlton injury. Put it on Twitter, and someone said, can we get someone professional in to look at what Russell and the strength and conditionings are doing at Carlton? A full review of our program. How does a player who was held back with an injury play 6 quarters and do it again despite a conservative approach? So is that what you're getting constantly in your feed?
Mate, I saw someone say, I'm not going to another game until Russell's sacked.
Oh my God.
Oh my, jeez.
So my argument, I've actually found myself, I'm not even in his favor, but I found myself by default defending him, because my argument is twofold. One, we don't know the full story of each individual injury. People just look at the injury report and make an assumption. And number two, you can't sack him now. You do it at the end of a season. You give the new person the chance to build the preseason program. So right now it's just noise. It's just unnecessary noise. I almost agree that maybe we need to look at him and maybe replace him. But it's who's better? Where are they? Are they available? And can we talk about it when we can actually do something about it? Which is in October.
I'm pretty sure we sacked our fitness guy. I think might have been this time last year. Maybe. I could be wrong. I think it was Nick Walsh from memory. And there was a bit of a swirl going around that maybe he was training the boys a little bit too hard. Maybe they didn't do as many stretches pre-training and this sort of thing. So a lot of soft tissues. They weren't warm enough and this and that. And I think we got in someone from Essendon who was supposedly very good. And since then we haven't really seen it. We've had injuries, but
Essendon,
not as bad as it was. I think it was Essendon.
Bit of a history there.
Yeah, no, you don't really go to the Essendon well these days, but they're doing all right themselves. So,
but Russell came from Hawthorn, didn't he? When they won their premierships.
Russell, the big thing about him is he was at Port when they won their flag. And also when Port when they won the flag, he was at Hawthorn with Clarko during the Hawthorn run, the dynasty, and he had a big name and reputation, and we probably paid for that. And maybe you do pay a little bit overs for the reputation. We brought in what was renowned as the best, and is he the best? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know enough about the whole program. I don't know enough about the players and their professionalism, their recovery, their diet, their sleep patterns. I don't know. So I just find myself saying that and then getting hit with, oh my God, you're pro Russell, you're an idiot, you can't see it. And I'm like, okay, no worries.
Yeah, of course. Naturally, the classic. If you're not with us, you're against us, isn't it?
So whatever.
Should we get into the first topic?
Let's jump. Oh, actually, sorry. Quickly, before we get into the first topic, Wiedering. What's going on?
What's the news? I didn't hear anything. What's the news?
I didn't hear anything. So apparently, St Kilda have offered Wiedering $1.5 million a year for the next 8 years.
Did they say? And I quote, informally offer him?
Yeah.
Well, they
informally.
walked past his house and just
I said
threw like a
$1.5 million
note
a year.
through
And
the
then just-
window,
yeah.
or
Yeah, right through the window.
like
Right
what's
through the
informally
window.
mean? They sent him a little drunken text and said, "Mate, what do you reckon? 1.5?" You know, like what's informal mean?
You up?
They had
They
a
sent him a
coffee.
you up text at 3 a.m.
Hey, what do you
Like-
WYD?
Like I love that. I love that they they put the informally in that sentence. Like, you know, because if they didn't, we'd think it was gospel. Like all news, it's all truth. It's all real.
Of course.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I wouldn't say no to a backline with him in it.
of course.
We've got Dougal Howard and good old Cords, who's battled for the last 18 months and done a good job. But he is 27 in November. It's a lot of money for someone that's 27. You get him what's a good fullback? Would you say he's injury prone, Terry, or is he okay?
Not
Like, is he just a normal level of injury for an average player, like an average AFL footballer?
He's had a few like clumsy moments, like collision. He hit the goalie in 2022, hurt his shoulder. He did a calf early this season in the preseason. Like generally, he's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I still think it's a bit much for someone at that age, but obviously I think he's a star, and we need a full back. And there's not many of them floating around. Sam Taylor would be nice. He would be one, and we've obviously got the Sauce connection. I don't really think that's like just because we have Sauce doesn't mean
favorable.
that anything happens. It's like what? Like he's got his phone, he's got his mobile number, and maybe he sees him once every often and on Lygon Street for a cuppa, but it doesn't mean he's coming to the Saints. And honestly, why would he? Carlton right now are doing well, and we have some work to do still. So, and someone just commented and said he was talking about taking a pay cut not so long ago anyway to stick around, I think, at Carlton. So
yeah, I just want to ask the audience a question. So those Sainters, hey, how are you? Just type in the chat.
Yeah.
Just let it be known. Do you think Jacob Wiedering will actually come to St Kilda? Yes or no? I'm actually curious to see what the feeling is like in the St Kilda camp after the news. Like, do you think he would actually come to St Kilda? Yes or no? Yeah.
I mean,
Jake, do you think he'll make the move?
No, absolutely not. I think we've got a very big list of players that we're looking at. I think obviously he would be one, but you got 20 players on a list. You're going to cross off 15 or 16 very quickly, and then you're going to narrow it down to the 3 or 4, and then those will probably all be North Melbourne players, let's be honest, and we'll be looking at them. So,
do you need a fullback more than a star mid or a star forward?
Yeah.
I don't think we need a star forward. I think what we have is good. I think we need to sort the midfield out ASAP. I think in the third quarter against Hawthorn alone, it was like 9 centre clearances to 1, 9 clearances to 1 or something. It was ridiculous. Against Hawthorn, who, no offence, again, they're all right, but they don't have a gun midfield. So, let's see.
Tommy's up and about.
He's up and about.
So it won't be an interest of Sauce. That's funny. All right, should we get into our topics?
Yeah.
Jump straight in. Half an hour
should go
of foreplay. We'll
first?
jump straight to the topics.
Jake, you're the host. You decide.
All right. You go, mate. Go, Terry.
Me?
You get straight into it, mate. Yep.
Amazing. So I wanted to bring up a topic around intellectual property when it comes to players and owning their own likeness and image. So, around the world, talk about the NBA, the NFL, or really anywhere, players will build their own brand, have their own logo. You think of, Kobe Bryant, Kyrie Irving, KD, all these, they have their signature shoes. Kind of got me thinking, do we think that will come? I think Nick Dacos has a signature shoe coming out. Correct me if I'm wrong, Luke. I think that's in the works.
Yeah, that was the talk. Yeah.
Yeah. So separate to, the boy starting a business like the Barry's Drink or a clothing label, I always wondered, why don't we have more personal brands for our player? Why don't our players create more personal brands around? I mean, I guess it would start with the superstars. Maybe we're at the early stage of that with Petrarca and the TikTok and the cooking and whatever, but I just find it really interesting why Charlie Kerner doesn't have his own merchandise with like CC or whatever.
So you're not meeting people like Grealish got sponsored. I think he got like a 7-figure deal with Gucci. So you're not talking about that. You're talking about his own like Air Jordans or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
His own brand based on himself. So it got me going down the rabbit hole, right? So I got full nerd, and I went down and looked at the CBA, and I looked at how players can earn money outside of the salary cap, and it kind of got me going down the rabbit hole of what would happen if a player wanted to earn some money marketing something else with a sponsor. And I mean, we'll park that for a moment, but would you like to see or would you purchase Max King merchandise, Nick Dacos merchandise with a specific Max King or Nick Dacos logo? And do you think that will start becoming a thing in the AFL?
I don't know. I mean, from my perspective, we're trying to get out of some debt. So anything that is released, I feel like the club would want it to be St Kilda owned, St Kilda branded, AFL owned, AFL branded. And if the players are, I guess, promoting themselves and selling their own type of merch, whether it's shoes or, I don't know, cologne or something like that, I don't know. I feel like that compromises things a little bit. So it wouldn't surprise me if there is something, and I think someone did put it in the comments, in regards to legal agreement or contract where they can't do that. Personally, I would rather buy stuff directly from the club that was maybe linked to the player than the player having his own brand at the moment.
Interesting.
Just because the club needs the money more than the player, because the players get paid enough. So
but the club can't earn. The club is not allowed to earn such money because it would fall. You talk about the salary cap, the TPP, plus your additional services agreement. This is the sticky point. Like players can't just do it. They're like blocked because of that exact reason.
Is there like you talk NBA, you talk EPL? There's demand because it's global sports. There's millions and millions and millions of people that are invested in not only the team, but the player. Like I could be following a basketballer and just really follow his journey and his brand and be invested in anything he releases, and I don't even need to care about the sport itself. But for AFL, Petrarca, for Charlie, it's just the fans. It's just the specific fans of that club. The reach beyond that is very, very limited. So I feel like there just wouldn't be enough people to buy. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to be Carlton fans buying Charlie stuff because again, it's just your association with the club. So if I wore Charlie Curnow shoes, like that's weird because I'm a Saints fan. I should be wearing something that's Saints related.
Yeah,
I feel like it wouldn't be the same as like Air Jordans. It just wouldn't be the same in my eyes.
So Charlie doesn't transcend Carlton.
No.
What about like Adam Goods or Buddy with the Indigenous community?
I think probably yes. I think there's probably a bit more of a reach there just for, obviously personal reasons and cultural reasons. So again, culture goes further than football, right? But I don't think just Charlie Curnow's personal brand goes further than Carlton.
Fair.
And I think like Cristiano Ronaldo, his personal brand goes further than any club he's ever played for in his entire life. Further than Man United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. So he can release anything he wants. He's bigger than Man U, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I think anyway. Some people might disagree, but there's certain players that are bigger than the clubs, and I don't think there's any AFL player that could say they're bigger than the club, that they have their own brand. I don't think Petrarca does. I don't think Dusty, I think, maybe he's gotten close because of what he's done, but that's personal accolades based on football, not anything else. So, I think it's completely different, personally.
As a devil's sort of advocate, because I agree with everything that you're sort of saying, I think from a fan's perspective, like let's just say, Nick Dacos partners with Nike and he releases these absolutely incredible Nick Dacos shoes. They've got nothing to do with the AFL, nothing to do with Collingwood. I think a kid like that, maybe maybe not Sheasel at the moment, but maybe like even Harley Reid, kids growing up at Auskick, they're looking up to these players. They could go for Essendon, they could go for Carlton. They're looking up to these players. They're going to purchase. Oh, Nick Dacos is running around in these shoes. Like 100%. I'm gonna sort of get them. But then you get into that sort of area. Like I feel there's a lot of players like Bo McCreary does like his own sort of brand, but not a Bo McCreary brand, like a clothing brand that's called Rager, right? But it's not a Bo McCreary brand. But if it's good, if Jack Steele, for example, released these amazing sort of bomber jackets that I could get around that I absolutely loved, and they looked good on me, like 100%. Like I've got a pair of Air Jordan signature Air Jordans or whatever they are. I can't remember. But I don't follow basketball. I know Michael Jordan. I know who he is, but I like the shoe, so I got it because it looked good on me. I think on the flip side, I feel like fashion or desirability, it transcends club even further. If Charlie Curnow releases fucking, I don't even know what he's into. If he releases
surfboard,
a surfboard, awesome. If I was a surfer and no one else is doing that in the AFL, and I love surfing and I'm a football lover, 100% I'm going to try out his new board or his turtle wax or whatever they're using. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then of course, if you're a fan of that club, it's going to go bananas. But then the club is would be very selfish in saying, hang on a second, we drafted you. You're playing for us. You're working for us. We need to get a cut of that. I assume that's what would happen and why players aren't really doing that and are going. They're not using their personal brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think Petrarca comes to mind. You just mentioned him. So he is now, I mean, I watch his TikToks. I'm not going to lie.
The best. I've done his things. Yeah,
probably
I've done his
things. He's going to like be groaning and literally rolling his eyes. He hates when I say it, but I for sure have made some of his recipes, right? Yep. So if Petrarca comes out with a cookbook, that transcends his affiliation, like tracks, recipes, whatever, which they're just normal recipes, but he's put his own spin on it. I think that could take off Australia-wide. Or aprons 100%. Or, whatever. I just think I don't know. I mean, I feel like it will happen. It will come. And I don't see anything in the CBA that is up to date with that reality. I don't even see the word podcast in the CBA, which is another issue.
And I think the emergence of TikTok and Christian Petrarca is doing it so freaking well. And I don't really see anyone else sort of doing it as good as him, but that's his own brand. He's TikTok. He I was obviously Pie supporter, right? I was following him at Red Bull training camp in Germany or wherever the hell he was, because I was so invested and so interested in what he was doing. So, and even like, what he cooks for his teammates before game day. I couldn't give a shit, but that was amazing to sort of see. And I feel like they're already starting to create that brand to sort of branch off into it. And isn't the CBA, isn't that getting done in a couple of years' time, or maybe isn't it getting redone?
We just entered it. We just entered into the new CBA.
Oh, well, there you go. Oh, we entered into the new CBA, right?
Yeah. We just entered into it. Interestingly, with illicit drugs policy, it says to be added, hasn't been done yet. But again, another topic. But I just found it interesting, and I think because of the rise of you can build your personal brand before you enter the AFL. I mean, right now we think Harley Reid had a tough time because he had so many people talking about him. In 10, 15 years' time, there will be a player with 100,000 followers before he even plays a game of football.
Yep.
So when you get that, it's like they already have a brand, Yeah.
And you see that in the NBA, in the NFL, it's huge. Not those actual leagues, but before when the rookies are coming through and stuff, everyone knows them. And like we know Harley Reid, we know Sheasel when they were coming through, Nick Dacos when they're coming through. But everyone knows them. Like Harvey Harrison, playing really well for the Pies at the moment. Young gun. He's on Instagram. He's got 5,600 followers on Instagram. right? His actual account.
Mm.
So, and then you look at these NFL guys, I know it's a little bit different, but with the draft and stuff, how big it is. And they've already got scholarships and Nike sponsoring them when they're in college. Like Nike's not sponsoring Harley Reid I don't know, but when he comes through, when he's playing for, Calder or whoever he's playing for, Vic Country. But maybe that's what we start seeing. They put their flag, like they make him a flagship player from the start, and they kind of go through. There's players, and you kind of see it with Collingwood. Like Darcy Moore's sponsored by Adidas, like his boots, even though we're Nike sponsored our gear. So maybe we see a little bit more of that with the young players coming through.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder how many players currently have more followers on Instagram than the football club that they're playing for. How many? There wouldn't be many. There'd be maybe 5.
No, there
So
wouldn't
say
be too many.
Buddy Franklin probably comes to mind when he played. He probably has more followers than Sydney and Hawthorn. Dusty would be pushing it pretty close with Richmond. I reckon is Paddy Cripps or Charlie.
No, he's not really active. He's not really big on Instagram.
Cripper's on what? He'd be over 100K for sure.
Yeah, I would
For
think
sure.
so.
I think what's
Nick
his name?
Dacos obviously is
Nick Dacos. Bailey's
right up there.
Bailey Smith is huge.
Bailey Smith
Like,
is
if
massive.
I look at- If I look up
Cripps has
Bailey's
191K. I think Carlton only have 200 odd.
Yeah, so there's
289. sorry.
Bailey Smith has 332,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow.
And
that's
Carlton
more than the Dogs.
Western Bulldogs have 191.
So he's got double.
So that he already transcends the socials of that club. And the thing and I think what teams are going to start doing, like Collingwood's interested in him, right? A lot of clubs are interested in him. He's the face of your organization as soon as you sign him. He's more than 250,000 people in Australia follow him. He can be on billboards. You can market him and he's good looking, right? Obviously. So you can market him to the States. You can market him to Europe if you wanted to make it a little bit bigger because he has that presence. That's 300,000 plus is huge. And that's probably bigger than
that's with
like
him,
you said, Jake, 12
that's with
clubs.
him not really playing. And that's with him not really playing.
For 2 years he's
not
barely
really
played.
being in the limelight. So imagine him being out there and actually playing good footy. He'd be over 400K now.
Yeah.
I see a reality in a long time from now, or maybe not as long as what I think. All it would take would be an up-and-coming player. I mean, I think maybe Bailey Smith type situation, good-looking guy, gets some sort of endorsement before he enters the league, at like a modelling endorsement of sorts.
Yeah.
And I wonder how we navigate that. We're a long way away from a player transcending this, the entire sport, but it's going to happen.
And I'm curious, like if you're Bailey Smith and you're getting all those followers not playing football and you're getting probably endorsement after endorsement offer, and maybe the football club is haltering some of that, he's probably thinking, I can make some good money playing football, but I reckon I can make a lot more not. So it raises that question too of like, I think it kind of puts into a player's mind, if I can brand myself away from footy, maybe that's where I can be a bit more lucrative and that's where I can put my time. So
what happens if Petrarca goes completely like batshit viral on TikTok for one of his videos and gets like 50 million views on a video and starts attracting like an international audience who have no idea what footy is, but all of a sudden they find him, he somehow hits the algorithm. That is where I think the Pandora's box opens. It's going to take just one.
And we kind of, not in an AFL sense, like the actual league, but we kind of see it with, I don't really know much of him, but Prime Train does it a lot.
Yeah.
So like he's built his own brand, vlogging all his games. He's got endorsements and stuff. He's flying all around Australia to play sort of footy. And people were saying that's why, look, I don't know if he's that good or anything like that. I don't really watch him in depth, but people are saying that's why he's not playing VFL or not playing AFL, let's say, because he's too much his own sort of entity, and the clubs don't want that sort of limelight. Is what I've heard from a couple of people. So I'm not really sure how that sort of works, but he's been doing that for years, doing his own thing, and now he's got like his gym thing and stuff like that. So yeah, like you're right, Terry. We could see a 14, 15, 16-year-old start off like that because everyone's going to be vlogging soon. Everyone's going to have the fucking Vision Pro goggles soon. So it's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
and
curious,
the
like, if
entrepreneurs are younger now. You can make the entrepreneurs are getting younger and younger as we go deeper and deeper into this technological world.
Yeah, imagine you're drafting someone, and one draftee is a better player, but the other draftee's maybe gone down that alley and he's got 50,000 followers already.
Yeah.
Would football? This is going next level, but would football clubs actually elect for the player that's the bigger brand, and maybe can pull a few more memberships, can maybe generate the club a bit more money, or you get someone that's got no presence at all, completely private. Maybe they don't even have an Instagram account, so they're like, okay, long term he's better, but for right now, if we're St Kilda, we're North Melbourne, we want some big personalities that we can sell merch to, we can sell memberships to quickly. Even if they don't get a game, they've got a presence that we want. So it's an interesting conversation.
That's insane to sort of think about, because it'll happen. 100%.
Because we think draft is just, this guy's really good, he's going to go pick 7, but they meet their parents, they look at where they've come from, their body language, their behavior. If you're looking at all these things, of course you're looking at, so what's he doing online? Oh, he's got a YouTube channel with 200,000 followers and he cooks. I reckon there's a few memberships right there.
Yep.
So it's interesting.
Yep. Watch this space.
Watch this space. Next topic.
So I'll jump straight in. Yeah. That was a good one. Good one, Terry.
Yeah, that was very good.
Nice little in depth. So I want to talk about the sub rule. So it's been in the news a lot lately, and I've written down a bit of a history of the sub rule. Pretty much it's going to be, do you like it as it is? Do you want to see it changed? But I'll give you a brief rundown on how it sort of works. So back in 1994, there was a third player on the interchange bench introduced. So that's only 30 years ago.
Third?
98. Third. So it was 2. And then they brought a third one in 94. 98, they introduced a 4th person on the interchange bench. And then there wasn't a change until 2011, where there was 3 interchanges and 1 substitute. And I remember that specifically because I'm pretty sure we had Fasolo in the 2011 grand final as our sub. And he came on as a sub. So that was 3 interchange and 1 sub. And then it changes a little bit again. 2014, there was the interchange cap at 120 interchanges. Do you remember that? That was before it was unlimited. That was crazy. So that was 10 years ago. And then it got reduced to 90. And then in 2021, it got reduced to 75. But we had the 5th bench player as the substitute for concussions only. And then in 2023, they changed that to a tactical sub. So now we've got 4 players on the bench, 1 substitute. And I asked the question and give you a brief rundown because Nathan Buckley raised a really good point, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. Let's just say you sub off a player at halftime for tactical reasons, right? The guy still got gas in him because he's only been subbed out at halftime. You take off whoever it is, Mason Cox, to bring in Harvey Harrison because we're playing too tall. But then 5 minutes into the third quarter, Darcy Cameron gets knocked out and he's concussed. Mason Cox is on the bench, completely healthy, and you've just lost a ruckman. Now you can't make that sub again. So now you're only on 3 on the bench, but you've got a really healthy player that can't participate in the game anymore.
Yeah.
Like Worrell. Curtin and Worrell from Adelaide just on the weekend.
Yeah. Exactly right. And I think that's probably why Buckley brought it up. I think as the concussion sub, I understood why it was there, but then teams started bending the rules. Tactical sub, again, you can kind of see why it's there, but coaches, from what you hear, coaches don't even want it. Just make it 5 on the bench, or just leave it as 4. You know what I mean? I think 5
Yeah.
just straight. I think that works. Leave the interchange cap at 75, and just 5. No substitute. Like you don't want to see a player like Collingwood had. Even though we had a bunch of injuries, so we had 3 players go down on the weekend. 1 was subbed and 2 were injured. If that guy that was subbed was healthy and we had 2 injuries, you'd be fucking fuming that you couldn't bring a healthy player back on. How do you guys see it with your teams? Has that sort of happened before?
Nah.
Not the way it happened to Adelaide. Like that was
not
so
like that.
stiff. Like
Yeah.
poor kid
Yeah.
Curtin comes off, and then like 5 minutes later, Worrell breaks his wrist, and Curtin's just sitting there. And I don't remember being stitched up too much with the sub, but I just think the game constantly evolves. If we're not changing the rotations, the way that games play is changing. 6-6-6, so the game's faster. So we need more rotations. But we can't have too many because we're capped. Therefore, we need a sub. But if we bring 5, if we make it 5 players, and be more running, more intensity, quicker. Like I feel like we're just constantly moving as a sport, and it's never going to stabilize. So I don't even know what the right answer is.
No sub.
Well,
based on the comments.
Is it 4 and no sub? Is it 5 and whatever happens,
22.
happens? Yeah, true.
That's
your best
it.
22.
22
True.
against 22. Let's go.
If you get injuries, you're unlucky.
You get injuries. That is football.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. And keep it simple.
Yeah, and that even if it stays 4 with no sub, at least that takes out the Adelaide scenario that just happened, because Curtin is just coming off because he's coming off for a rest. He's not coming off because he's been substituted out, and no one wants to. No one, your coach doesn't want to tell the 23rd best player, look, man, I'm going to put you as the sub today. You're debuting, amazing. We did it last week. You're debuting, but as the sub, you might not come on until 3/4 time. Like, fuck, man, it's insane to think about. Like obviously different with like the soccer and stuff, right? But it just doesn't make sense for us to have a sub rule that's not a concussion sub rule.
Yeah.
And it's tactical. Put your tactics as your best 22 or 23, whatever you want to do. 4 subs, 4 interchange players or 5 interchange players.
How many games have we seen where we can genuinely say a club has made a tactical sub and it's won them the game? That they made that sub and it won them the game. Can we think of a game where it's so clearly obvious that someone brought on a forward and he's kicked 3 in the last quarter and they've won? I can't think of a game. I don't think a sub has single-handedly changed a game like I don't know, maybe it's implied that's what that is for. I can't think of one. St Kilda's never done that.
I'm going to oppose that to Twitter right now.
Hey, chat.
Like has a sub gotten Brownlow votes in the last 2 years? I'd love to know that. Coaches' votes
Has
even.
a sub come on for your team?
Very
If you're
curious.
watching at home, has a sub come on and made that much of a difference? I mean, I guess it depends when they come on. Do you mean like Sam Berry? How can I forget? Sam Berry. Oh,
Sam Berry?
Yeah. He definitely was an injection of something, no doubt. Ollie Henry kicking 4 versus Fremantle as the sub.
Oh,
that's better memory than I have.
Yeah. Crisp against Brisbane. Could change the game apparently.
We saw Lockie Sullivan. We saw Lockie Sullivan come on last week, and he gave us a bit of an injection. First kick with his goal, and sort of spurred it on. But you're just not seeing that every single week.
No. Like last week, our sub was Ben Patton. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that. Why Ben Patton? Why? It was, and then we subbed off Jack Hayes at half time when we were struggling up forward, and we brought on Ben Patton. I thought, okay, this is a head scratcher. I genuinely don't know how. And it was tactical supposedly. He didn't train today, Jack Hayes, funnily enough. So I reckon it's not tactical, and they said it was. But at the time, I thought, geez, Ben Patton as a sub. I don't think he's winning us. I don't think he's changing our fortunes. No offense to him. I don't think he's the difference.
Luke,
unless your depth is stacked.
Yeah.
And then you do it.
Luke, just confirm. So right now, what is the rotation cap? 75?
75 with 4 players, 1 sub.
And the sub. Yeah.
And what did
And
it used
only-
to be after we brought in the cap?
So 10 years ago in 2014, it was 120
Yeah.
substitutes,
How
which
long
is
ago?
just
Sorry.
wild to think. 10 years ago, 2014.
10 years ago.
That's 40, average of 30 a quarter. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess you got to find what's the right number. I think when we had 120, there was that, and then I think 666 changed a lot of things because it speeds up the game. I feel like we just got to find a number that is that aligns with 4 subs, or a number that aligns with 5 subs, and sort of,
In saying that, in 2016, they went from 120 interchange cap to 90, but then they returned to 4 interchanges without a substitute. So 4 and 90, and they're like, that was there for 5 years, and they're like, no, that's not working. Let's change it back down. Let's change it to 75.
And that's just to speed up the game, isn't it?
Yeah. But everyone, even like I think Lee Matthews came out and said you need to change it to like 45 as well, or something crazy low
You know
to
what?
sort of.
Yeah.
It's
just
just
do what the
we're never
EPL
gonna
does.
know.
Sub them off. You're never coming back on.
Well, no matter what happens, we're always going to evolve, and the rules will always be. Coaches will always manipulate the rules to their advantage until we need to change them again.
Yep.
So I don't think there's an answer that is going to solve a problem forever. No.
It depends on where the game's going. If they want to speed it, obviously, like do they still want to speed the game up, or is it at a speed that people like, or like it can't continue to get faster infinitely? Like, how much quicker can the game get? The umpires can't even keep up. That's another thing. The fans can't keep up because we don't know what was that advantage for. What was that free kick for? It's already down the other end. You don't know. So, like, you got to think of it as a spectacle. You got to think of it logistically with umpires, how they run the game. The quicker it gets, do you put more umpires on? Lee Matthews played in the day of no running. Yeah. You just do you have zones? The umpires. Yes. Could you imagine? Lee Fisher's like, I've got a corky. I got to get off.
You know what? It just reinforces you kind of have to accept the imperfection of the game. That's part of it.
It's never going to be. It is. We love the imperfection. 100%. You know, the fact, I mean, the ball is imperfect. You know, it bounces all over the place. So that reflects the sport as a whole. It's unpredictable and you don't know what's going to happen. Imagine, I'm just picturing the umps with like a full-on bench where they're like barking orders from the side. Like,
too bad calls and you're subbed off.
They get in the huddle. Yeah. Pin him, hold the ball. Yeah. Damn, this game. I mean, give it 10 years, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, you can't rule these things out. We joke about it, but we've joked about things before, and then they actually happen. You know?
Do the games need to be that much higher scoring than what they are? Like, do you watch games and think, "Oh, I wish I watched more scores"?
I mean, as a Saints fan, absolutely, it'd be nice to see a higher score on the board.
I guess that's
okay, fair.
Different. But it's sometimes the war of attrition is really good.
Agreed.
Like you're like, okay, cool. I love when my team kicks fucking 120 points and I'm seeing Marcha kick 6 goals. But sometimes that bloody arm wrestle when it's 60 and 60 is just incredible because one goal or a point can change the game. You know, Collingwood and Carlton didn't get past 90 points. Essendon and Collingwood didn't get past 90 points, and it was still a good bloody game.
Well, that's some of the best finals. Most of the finals are low scoring because of that, because it's the pressure, because it's highly tactical, it's intense, and there's more contested ball than in the regular season.
And you find that weird? We want our teams to have a pressure rating of 200 or more because that's elite, but we also want 25 to 30 scoring shots on goal.
I know, yeah.
You know?
So every team wants their team to be the highest scoring team and have the best defense across the board. Yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, Sydney's doing it. Good on them. They're looking pretty good, but
True. Sydney are doing
it. That's rare though to have. I mean, they say you got to be top 4 in both, but Yeah, I don't think.
Oh, I'm gonna write this down. I just got an idea for next week. Next week's
An idea for
next
he's already
week's
thinking next week. This guy.
I just gotta write this down.
He's switched on.
Cool.
Are we done with that
Awesome.
topic?
Yeah,
I really
Yeah,
like that
It
one.
was good. It was good. Very good. I
Yeah.
like it.
Beautiful. Well,
Right,
I'll
Jake, you
kick
going?
mine. I'll kick
Alright,
mine
host.
off. It's a very, very basic one. It's very, very simple, and it's a big topic that, to be honest, I think it's not getting enough attention. I don't think we've addressed it. I think Geelong should be held way more accountable than what they have, and that is in relation to Jeremy Cameron with, I believe it was 10 minutes to go in the game, slammed his head into the turf. Like, there's no question. That was a sickening thing to watch. And he stayed on the ground. So that's top line. Stayed on the ground. They said, the doctor came out, they said that they conducted tests, right, on the ground. That can't be done. That can't be done. There's no way they would have known. There's no way they would have known. And the biggest thing about this is that the CEO of the AFL has come out and he said, what did he say, Andrew Dillon? He said, we're comfortable with how it was handled on the night. Now, I can think of maybe 50 other ways that could have been handled. And to me, I can't believe that a player can stay on in that situation, but when there's a little bit of blood on their knee, the umpire blows his whistle, stops the game, says, get off. And he won't even ball the game up. But with something like this, which is way more severe, no problem at all. How is there no vision that they can get? The umpires have an earpiece, right? How is someone not watching that and saying, hey, stop the game, Jeremy Cameron's just hit his head, get him off the ground now. Stop the game, get him off the ground. Possible concussion, needs to get tested. Don't let Geelong run the show. And that's another thing that actually upset me, is that Andrew Dillon also came out recently and he said that he's refusing independent doctors for head knocks. So right now they are obviously Geelong Football Club run doctors. They have the Geelong Football Club as their interest. Geelong were making a very big comeback in that game. Jeremy Cameron's their best player, game-changing player. He could have won them that game. If that same thing happened with 9 minutes to go in the first quarter, and this is a genuine question to everyone watching and you guys, would he have stayed on the ground?
No, 100% not. He comes off for
No
that
chance.
20-minute test. Of course.
No chance. And it's like, they wanted the win. I get you do, but Port Adelaide had a similar situation last year. I think I've got what was it here? They were fined last year for not making defender Ilira Lee undergo a SCATS concussion test during a match against Adelaide when he clashed heads with teammate Lockie Jones. Port Adelaide, got a $100,000 fine. $50,000 of that went into their soft cap. Massive punishment. That is a massive punishment. Geelong, slap on the wrist. CEO says it was handled well. Now, I can't look at that situation and say that the AFL are taking head clashes and concussions seriously. And you know what? We've seen a player already this week retire because of that at training.
Yep.
It's going to happen more. I just don't understand how Geelong haven't been fined. Is it a coincidence that Jeremy Cameron's come out 2 days later and said that it was a delayed concussion? How do we not know? Where's the information? How do we not know that he was not concussed in that exact moment and they're saying that it's delayed just to cover their tracks? How do we not know that? We don't know that, do we?
We also don't know what exactly happened and the communication.
No, we don't. We don't. But what we do know is that Geelong ran the show. The AFL needed to get him off the ground at the very least. And we all know the rule. You're off the ground, you get a test, you're off for what, 20 minutes, I think? So that would have been the game done. That would have been the game done. And they wanted their best player on the ground to win the game. Now, I get that 20 years ago, we've seen players in grand finals come out and say they had broken ribs, they had this, they had that, they fought through, and, they had a bunch of injuries we didn't know about until the end of the season where they all go in for 50 surgeries, and you're like, wow, this guy's been playing with a dislocated shoulder for the entire season. We didn't know that. But with the amount of scrutiny, with the amount of attention that's going on with concussions, with head knocks, with the tackle, I just feel like that was handled extremely poorly, and they could have made a statement in the AFL that night. Jeremy Cameron's a lucrative player. He's a poster boy for the AFL and for Geelong. Imagine the umpire going up to the doctor and saying he has to come off. Makes an absolute statement that what they're doing is focused on the player's well-being at all costs. They missed that chance, and now it's got me questioning whether they are doing all of this because of legal reasons, because of this, because of that, because they clearly didn't care that much to get him off the ground. So I'll put it to you boys, what your thoughts are on that. I just thought it was handled poorly.
Well, we talked about it. We talked about it off air, and there was that survey that just came out today that last year, 2023, I think it was 159 players had concussion symptoms,
Yes.
and 12% of them didn't report any because they wanted to keep playing. They didn't want to miss that extra week because they know that one, they're going to miss that extra week, and two, that they're trying to win the game for their team. I think someone in the comments said the NRL has independent doctors. That's what needs to happen. It's like having a fight with your partner, let's say, right? And they're saying, "Oh, you're doing this, and this wrong," and you're trying to say you're not, but you're always going to be biased to yourself. You need that therapist to sort of mediate who's hasn't got any skin in the game, right? I'm going to always have skin in the game for myself, even though I can try and see the bigger picture. Like you said, Jake, Geelong's doctors, they want to win that game. They needed to win that game. They're not going to take him off. Yeah, he's good. Jeremy Cameron, you feeling all right? Can you see my fingers? Yeah, good. He's all good. He's all good to go.
And then it's 2 days.
Oh, actually, he's got delayed. He's got delayed concussion. It has to be
anyway.
Independent doctors. It has to be.
Yeah.
It's the only way for it to make sense.
I
mean, what's the argument against it? Why wouldn't they do that?
Because, like you said, they want their best players on the ground. They want Nick Dacos to stay on the ground if he gets a concussion because Collingwood are coming back or whatever it may be. Like I'd be fuming. I'd be fuming if Collingwood's doctors let Nick Dacos stay on the ground if he had a concussion because they thought we were a chance to win, or it was
What about if it was a granny?
Pardon?
What if it was a granny? 10 minutes to go.
I'd still be fucking upset. I'd be. Yeah, that's different. I can see that. That's different. Leave him on. Nah, but you know what I mean. Like, I think you'd have to. It is testy, but you got.
But there's no grey area, right? There's no grey area. You either give a shit and you get them off, or you come out and you just let the game go and say, you know what, sling tackles, whatever, it's all good. We don't care. Like, you can't have best of both worlds. You can't.
I think there is grey area, and the reason why I say that is because we sit here in a really comfy, silent room individually right now. When you are in the heat of the battle and you're in the heat of competition, where's the rationality from Geelong? I mean, no one's going to be thinking like we are right now because we're in a calm environment right now. Yes, it's all good during the week to say this should happen, that should happen. But practically speaking, when you are on the field in the heat of the battle, you will do whatever it takes to stay on the field. And maybe that's why you bring in an independent reviewer that says, no, you're absolutely coming off. I certainly take that point, but it's always easier to make these rules when we're sitting here right now, you know. But like when you actually are there on game day on the bench, and you're like, or if you're a player, you know what's at stake. Jeremy Cameron knew what was at stake when he fell on the. He knew exactly what was at stake. He probably thought like, I got to make sure that I seem okay as soon as I possibly can, and that's part of what we were talking about earlier with the sub rule. Like people will always exploit the rules to make sure that they get an advantage, or they make sure they're not disadvantaged. You know? Yeah.
I think what the thing that favoured Cameron was the fact that it was kind of self-inflicted because he flew up for a mark, he hit his head, so no one was really watching him. What if it was a sling tackle and someone slammed him in? There's no way he's able to stay on the ground, right? There's no way he could talk his way out of that. Because the umpire would have seen a sling tackle, so he's reporting a guy. So how can you report someone and say that's dangerous, but then the guy that you've slammed into the ground at the same time say, hey, but you can stay on, all good, but you might get suspended because it's dangerous, but hey, not dangerous enough for you to go off the ground.
Well, it
Like,
depends how they react to it. So the sling tackle, if he gets up straight away, even though it's a sling tackle and a dangerous one.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it just depends. I mean, it's
But should he go off the ground and at least get a test? And if
no
he's
doubt.
fine, come back on, no problem.
He's definitely hit his head, and he's definitely, hit the marker where it's like, should we test him or not? Yes, we should absolutely test him. But
Yeah.
there's 10 minutes to go. Game in the balance.
Exactly.
I mean, you
And also,
But then you hear some coaches and they say, you know what, it's a long season. We don't rely on Cameron. We don't rely on these sort of players. Their well-being's number one. We want him to be right for round 20. We don't want him to have these problems along the way. We needed to get him off the ground, take care of him, and that's the end of it. But then you see this and you're like, I don't know. I feel like there's some hypocrisy there a little bit. But
yeah, no, I think all of these instances get added to the story of head knock, and there's more will come, more will happen. There's no doubt about it, and it's just we keep building layers to this story of head trauma. Some of them will be farcical, some of them will be good.
And we talked about this was it last week or something, where in terms of like suspensions, or maybe my memory eludes me, but certain players get special treatment because they are big names. If that wasn't Jeremy Cameron and that was the 20th man for Geelong, probably gets taken off, right? Again, another way where if you're a Dusty, if you're a Nick Dacos, if you're a Jeremy Cameron, you can fit into that grey area a little bit easier than some of these other players and get away with something that maybe someone else won't. Like if that's not,
life.
That's life. But
privilege.
look at these players that have retired, that have unable to fulfill their dream doing this. Imagine them watching the same sport that has put them out, and they're seeing players like Jeremy Cameron just run around no problem after that, and then miss a game the next week. It's a very ugly situation when you see it from that perspective. When you see it from the perspective of other players that have retired because of that exact reason. Yeah.
I also just quickly want to say, just as an asterisk, that because I've seen a couple of comments that this is just us riffing. This is all assumptions. We know that the medical professionals are for the players, for their health and stuff like that. But it is a very good topic because we see it. And I think another sort of side story to this is players, and I was going to bring it up sort of last week, was slinging their head into the ground, getting tackled, or trying to help it. We saw it always. You could argue Jake Lee.
No. Stop right there.
Tell me.
There. Always did
I needed
not
to bring it up.
Run his head into the ground.
Not his head.
Neither did Kemp.
I think.
By the way,
Kemp didn't. Last week, that was. I don't know why Brian Taylor was calling for that. That was he. Brian Taylor, BT wanted to bloody put him on the cross during that last quarter. But I think always helped himself fall into that tackle to get a free kick.
Play it out with me.
Not his head.
Play it out,
but just the tackle.
We went to ground to make sure we got a stoppage, right? Play it out with me. Who's stronger, Always or Maynard in a tackling grappling duel? Who's stronger?
Well, it's Maynard because he was the tackler.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Always shrugs. Tries to shrug, right? That's the initial action, right? Tries to shrug Maynard. Once he goes to ground, Maynard's in control of how he hits the ground because he is the stronger man. Always doesn't drag Maynard to ground. Maynard has control of Always. I really think people need to think about, like, do you really think a player would purposely try to knock themselves out? Like, what are you saying?
No, I don't think he was trying to knock himself out.
I'm saying in general. There's a general.
No, I know. I think he was trying to get a free kick, not like manipulate Maynard to fall into his back to get a free kick, not for a dangerous tackle. But even I think I don't have it on because I wasn't going to talk about this. But I think even the tribunal said that Always contributed to the way he fell, or there was some sort of wording. That's why Maynard didn't get cited by the tribunal for
sure. There were two people that played a part in that whole thing.
Yeah. 100%. And it wasn't, that was just because it was just recent. But there's been instances. Jake Lever did it as well, where they'll go to ground, and Lever's probably a better one than always because he goes to ground. He puts his head in there and goes straight away for his head. And the umpire's like, oh, he's hit his head. That's a sling tackle. The guy that tackled Lever got suspended for a week.
Lever jumped backwards for his one. I think if we're talking about the same one.
I'm watching the Owies one now, frame by frame. So where Maynard is right now, it is a perfect tackle, right? I can't show you because I'm not running StreamYard, but perfect tackle right now. Owies' right leg is on the ground. His left leg is not. He lands on his left and then he hops to create momentum and then lifts his right shoulder, knowing that Maynard and the weight of Maynard is going to come over him. And then he lifts his right leg up this high off the ground, horizontally. And then it's literally frame by frame, left leg, his head is aimed directly at the ground. Do you know that there is so many other ways that this tackle and this situation could have gone? And he has contributed to it significantly. Frame by frame, if you watch, he could have just stood up and Maynard would have helped him. So you're saying...
he wouldn't. He tried to bring him to ground.
Maynard would have just held him and it would have been a ball up. Nah, Maynard would have wrapped him.
I feel like
it would have been a ball up.
Trying to wrap him to the ground.
What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I'm saying that the way that he's pulled him made it 10 times more dangerous than what it would have been if he just let him hold the tackle and go to ground.
So at what point in what you're watching is Maynard in control of Owies and Owies not in control of himself?
So if I watch it I'm just trying to watch it in like actual speed.
Watch the thing. Watch the play. Frame by frame.
I'm watching it.
Frame by frame is not the move. Watch the action in real time. This is
the issue. I'm watching it now.
Frame by frame.
But see, they've got the clip here. The clip here's got it right as Owie flips him. I'm trying to find some footage where it's
Owies flips
the
Maynard.
few seconds
is that
before.
Owies is strong enough to flip Braden Maynard. Is that what you're trying to say?
If any, it doesn't matter. I don't think it's the matter of the size of Maynard because it's the way that Owies shifts his legs.
It's a strength.
It's the way that he shifts. It's the way that he shifted his legs. That was my issue. It wasn't. He's put his right leg up.
How does Owies control Maynard? Tell me how.
No, he doesn't control Maynard. He controls
the strongest blokes on the field.
He controls the way he falls, in my eyes, anyway.
Yeah, he controls the dismount, if you will. It could have gone multiple other ways. Always contributed to the fact that his head went from here, Terry, to facing the ground. It didn't have to be that way. It didn't have to be that way.
What was the alternative? How was he going to control Maynard?
Control Maynard, not.
How is he going to control? What was the
why did he hop? Tell me why he hopped mid tackle, which I've never seen another player do. And then his right leg ends up here, and his left leg is under, shifting the weight of Maynard. It doesn't matter how big he is because if there's momentum, it's going to be easy to handle that weight. That's what momentum does.
You trying to argue that Owies dictates Maynard's strength?
People said that. I'm coming from a Saints fan that said that people said Higgins controlled Alir's weight, right? And Alir's bigger than Higgins, and guess what? They didn't say that, and Higo got 3 weeks for it. Right? He went to kick, and his weight shifted, and the tackle went the way it did, and Higgins got 3.
To bring him to ground. Correct.
Just like what Maynard was doing.
Correct.
And Higo gets 3. But Higo gets 3. But you're talking about I'm telling you that
always doesn't do.
Yeah, he's smaller. I get that.
Correct.
But I'm just looking at the way he shifts his legs, and to me, that's just not natural. That's not a natural action. That's an action to simulate.
Going to ground. That's not a natural action.
I think it's the shrug. That's what does it.
It's the shrug. It's the shrug. It's like he's trying to lift him. Like I just feel like there's.
What's the first instinct when a player gets tackled?
Well,
You got to get
yeah,
out of it. You either got to get
lift
rid
your
of
hands
it.
to get the hands out. Yeah.
You either got to get rid of it, or you got to get out of the
Yeah.
tackle. So is he within his rights to shrug?
I don't think that
100%.
I don't think the shrug that he's doing is going to get him out of the tackle, like at all.
No, but as a player, you have two options. You have to get rid of the ball when you're tackled, or you have to get out of the tackle, right? That's the two options you have available to you. Otherwise, you get pinged holding the ball.
Yep.
You know what? I think there's so many ways this tackle could have gone. Like if Maynard lets go before Owies, what happens if Maynard lets go of him?
No. Let's talk about what happened.
What happens
not
then?
What would have happened, because then we're going into Pandora's box.
Just like, oh, there's another angle there. So
I just
No, this is why I get
feel-
fired up.
yeah, it's
The
a
reason why I
tough.
get fired up.
100%. No, 100%.
No, I'm
Why I
not.
get fired up. I'll tell you
I
why.
get what you're
No, what
saying,
I'm
but I
saying
just
is
feel
this.
like
There's an inference that's going to start going around that blokes are trying to hurt themselves to earn a free kick. BT did it with Brody Kemp on the weekend.
Yeah.
Fucking
Which
ridiculous.
was uncalled for.
that was
ridiculous.
yeah.
Because then the article started coming out, AFL faker Brody Kemp.
Yeah.
It was a great tackle.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he
Yeah.
probably should have been pinned holding the ball. But to label him a faker, come on. So to come out here and say that, these guys are trying to hurt themselves, get off it. Get off it.
No,
Don't even try it.
It just could have.
He could. I think maybe I worded it wrong in saying trying to hurt himself. He contributed to the tackle. Players that contributed.
No doubt, and that's why Brody
Yeah.
Maynard wasn't suspended, because
Yeah.
always had something.
Sorry,
to
that
do
was.
with it.
See, and that's the wording. That's the whole wording. I went with a way that I shouldn't have. He contributed to the tackle, and that's why Maynard got off, and that's why the BT thing is just fucking so stupid. And everything that sort of came after it, but even the lever contributed to the tackle. That contribution, we're going to see a little bit more of it going, because, like you said, Terry, before, with the coaches manipulating the rules, players do it all the time, and they're going to start to, unless we.
So what was the free kick for? Was that dangerous tackle? They paid a dangerous tackle
or
for that.
dangerous tackle. Yeah.
It wouldn't be a sling tackle.
No, dangerous tackle. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
The Brody Kemp one was paid a dangerous tackle. It shouldn't have been. It should have been holding the ball.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened.
Yeah.
It should have been holding the ball. They got it wrong. That's the reality.
What? Yeah. Nah, I can't.
Oh,
get
we
over the
shouldn't
way
have tried to take. You could make the case. Oh, we shouldn't have tried to take on Maynard and shrug. But then you could also say, well, then he's not trying to correctly dispose of the ball or trying to do anything with it, and then he gets pinged.
Yeah.
Like these are all split-second things. So if you're going to break it down frame
100%.
by frame, like, what are we doing? And this is the issue. We're breaking it down frame by frame, and then using our quick brains to break down a frame. You can go forward or back 3 frames and position your argument either way.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched it in real time, and I thought exactly what I think now. I'm not saying that with new vision, different angles. I saw it live and I thought, cheeky bugger. I know, you know what he's trying to do there. I just thought he put himself in the firing line there. Yeah. And what I didn't like even more than that was, I mean, again, you don't know the context, but they showed him. It's like when they showed Sam Draper after the game when he got the push in the back or whatever it was when Essendon won.
Yeah.
And he kind of did the whole thing. They showed Owies and he had a big smirk on his face like he'd gotten away with something. And I'm like, like he knew what he was doing. Like, I know you say split second, but he knew what he was doing, 100%.
Yeah, but
and I get, you know what? Do you know what? Small forwards, small forwards do it.
Yeah,
he didn't. I'm not saying he tried to hurt himself, but I agree with Luke. He tried to make it much more than what it was, and he got the act. Yeah, he manipulated. He staged, and he got the goal from it.
I'm on board. I'm on board, and I agree. 100%. Players will manipulate. Yeah. But to infer where I will fire up is where someone will say he tried to hurt himself to get a free. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah. And that was I used.
So if we say
journo,
if we just
wording there.
If we just say that he staged that, you're fair with that. He staged that. He got a free kick. He manipulated the situation into his benefit, and he got the goal.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. but it stays
Yeah,
there.
I'm
It
happy
doesn't
with
go.
that.
Players are trying to hurt themselves
Yeah,
and throw their
yeah,
Oh
knee
no,
forward.
you're
no.
100%
I
right.
think.
Yeah.
What if that's exact same thing happened and he hit himself, like he ended up being
Trying to draw a free
concussed? What
kick,
happens?
Anarin. Spot
What
on.
happens there?
Trying to draw a
What
free
happens
kick.
there if he actually concussed himself? What's the situation there? Because we're talking about it now. I know, again, hypotheticals, but there's no reason why he does it. If he's done it now and he knows it works, say he tries it again, backfires a little bit, he misses the next week, he's concussed. What happens to the player that tackled
Let's
him?
find out. Someone will do it in the next 2
Someone
months.
100% will do it.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's.
But
I mean,
yeah,
again,
Jake,
it's.
I just won't cop. I'm watching it
Yeah.
frame by
No, that's
frame.
fair enough.
I'm not copping it. I'm not copping that. That's
I'm
rubbish.
only watching that because that's the only thing on Twitter I found, mate. I watched
Yes,
it live. I
but
watched it
you're
live
saying
in the
watched
moment.
it
I told
live
you.
in real time,
And it was the
then
same
you're saying,
feeling.
I'm going to watch it frame by frame. So why did
It
you
was the
change it?
same feeling. He manipulated it. He pulled the weight. He shifted his feet. He knew exactly what he's doing. He's a small forward. He's crafty. He got the job done. All right.
And we've seen it. We've seen it
Don't
all
be
last
that
year, all the last
one-eyed.
2
He-
years with.
I'm not being one-eyed. I'm not being
Yes, you
one-eyed.
are.
I'm telling you.
Nah.
I'm telling you. You're trying to make an inference that a player's trying to hurt himself on purpose to get a free
I'm
kick.
saying that he put himself in much higher probability of hurting himself. I'm not saying he tried to, but what he did made it a higher chance that he could have
He tried
really
to
hurt
draw a
himself.
free kick.
Yeah.
Players will
tried
do
to
anything
draw
these
a
days.
free kick.
You know what? Players try and they stay on concussed to win games these days. So
So he tried to draw a free kick.
he tried to draw a free kick. He staged.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he possibly could have
Yeah,
hurt
100%.
himself.
Yeah.
Possibly, mate. We
In
could
doing
talk
it.
about the possibility of anything. There's an infinite world we live in.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you mean possibly? If we sit
Absolutely.
here and talk about
Hey.
what could have possibly happened, St Kilda would have a flag.
Oh, there'd be a number of flags, mate. If we had if we had a Matt Owies if we had a faker like Matt Owies in 09 and 10, we'd have 2 flags.
Yeah, okay. You had a Stephen Milne, even
know?
worse.
Even
Yeah, I know, even worse.
Even
700
worse.
goals.
Even worse.
arguably
mate.
Even worse.
Even worse.
Owies would have
And we
the
had-
2010 draw. Instead of Milne standing still and the ball bouncing, Owies would have thrown himself at it, and it would have somehow bounced in, and we bloody win. Go Saints!
Oh, mate. He would have done a somersault. He would have landed on his neck. He would have got a free kick. And
He would have. And then after the game, Saints premiership player in neck brace, but he's got the medal around the neck brace, so it doesn't matter, right?
Oh, far out. Oh, God. Sorry, guys. That was my bad. But that was
That
fun.
was great.
I think. I think there's no.
This is what we do at Footy. This is what we do at Footy abroad.
We are
This is what we
defending
do.
Braden
Yeah.
Maynard. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't. I just can't believe it.
It's not, but it doesn't. You got to talk of it like it's just 2 players doing that. Forget what their colours they're wearing
Yeah.
in this situation, because it's going to happen
correct.
every week. So we're talking about the idea of it. We're not attacking Matt Owies. We're not attacking Maynard. We're not condoning either situation.
not attacking
We're
Matt.
just
We're definitely
talking
not.
about in the state of the game. If this happens more and more and more, what do we do about it? How do we combat it? So fair argument there on both fronts, I think. Yeah. I mean, Andy, I am on crack a little bit, mate. But I mean, you got to be as a Saints fan. Yeah. And there's obviously going to be more Carlton supporters in the chat, so it's always fun seeing them fired up a little bit as well.
No, I wouldn't say there's more Carlton supporters in the chat. I would say it's a
I
nice
think
balance.
the chat's been pretty. The chat's been pretty.
It's been fiery. It's been fiery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
been
actually,
up and
that does lead me. We've finished that. 3 massive topics, by the way, so that was good. Are we going to open it up to fan cams now, Terry? Is that the special 4th topic, or if they want to share their own topic, come on and talk shit?
I would
We're gonna
love. I
open
want
the
DMR.
floodgates.
I want Muhammad. I want DMR and Muhammad in particular to come on and tell me.
Muhammad wanted me off for an Essendon supporter because he wants 3 winners, 3 big clubs on there. You need balance, mate. You need fire, and that's what I bring. So
DMR,
take it easy,
this is
Muhammad.
it. DMR, it's time. All right. So
Pies have
first of all,
come.
I'm going to put the
I'm
link.
going to just sit back now.
I'm going to put the link for anyone that wants to come in and
Oh, boy.
ask a question, bring up a topic. that is on your mind around the league. And to answer your question, guys, it's unfortunate, but you're not all in the same chat. So if you're watching this from Blue Abroad channel, then you're seeing Blue Abroad chat. If you're watching it from Saints TV chat, same. And I don't think everyone sees everyone, which is such a shame.
No, they don't.
We get all the same chat.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. My mum was actually asking that the other day because we said something about someone in the chat, and then she's like, "I couldn't see it. What were you talking about?" So that's I guess that's a bit of a shame.
It's a
but
damn
that's okay.
shame. It is a damn shame.
I thought everyone was just. Oh God. Okay. Oh, interesting.
So we can see
all right.
everyone's messages in here. You just can't see the messages from the other channels. So anyway.
Yeah.
If anybody has a topic, please bring it. I want Muhammad to come here and tell me how the umpires would bias towards Carlton on Thursday. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Time
Let's
stamps.
go.
That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want.
Anyone here want to bait Terry? Come on, let's go. It's gonna be good.
Hey man, I'm all
Terry.
good.
Torch Terry. That's the new segment I'm bringing to tonight's show. Let's go.
Come and let's do it. All right, we got Ben. Hello, mate.
Oh,
That's just me.
there we go.
Hello guys, how you going? Got a bit tense before. I thought one of you was going to storm off.
Never.
The fixture came out today for round 16 and round 23, and there was no Thursday night game scheduled. I understand maybe not from like round 18 to 23, but like during the school holiday period, I reckon there should be some Thursday night games. Just what are your opinions on that?
I haven't even looked at the fixture, to be honest.
Yeah,
I hadn't even thought about it.
I love Thursday night games. They gave a reason why. I didn't see the reason why, but I saw that there was an article saying why they didn't have Thursday night games. But I froth it, man. It makes it feel like you said, Terry, you played on Thursday, makes it feel like a long weekend. It makes it feel so good. Like I'd have football on every day if you could, you know what I mean? Even if it's not your team playing, just on a Thursday. What else are you doing on a Thursday night? Like just go to the footy. But I agree, not having them later on in the season, so you're sort of maximizing the rest time before finals. But school holidays is probably peak time for Thursday night games, definitely.
The only issue, I love Thursday footy. The only thing I wish we could remove is 5-day breaks. I think that's just brutal in this sport. I mean, we've just talked about rotations and all of that and the demands. We want 200 plus pressure rating every quarter. We want high scoring games. We want it back and forth, 6-6-6. 5-day breaks are wild for all of that. So, yeah. What do you think?
Are you talking to me or?
Yeah.
I think I enjoy the Thursday night. It just makes it feel like the weekend starting early, and stuff. Just makes it a bit more enjoyable. Crowd numbers are usually pretty good, and I don't know what TV numbers I think are pretty good as well. So, just in that case, I enjoy it and stuff. Is
it more enjoyable if you're a neutral fan? Like, do we like Thursday nights when our team's not playing because we just get to go home and it's nice? If your team's playing, you can't be stuffed sometimes. So there's two sort of arguments.
If my team was playing on a Thursday night and then we lost and then I go to school the next Friday, probably a bad mood. So my team plays this Thursday night. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and I agree. Should be more Thursday. And people, like you said, people love it. People are going. And I think it's better if it's not your team. We played a couple of Thursday night games, but if it's not your team, you get to sit back, take out night, grab a pizza, have a cold one, and watch the footy. You got work the next day, but it just makes work even better the next day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if your team wins,
better or worse, depending on your office.
Better or worse, yeah. That's true.
Ben, who do you support?
Geelong.
Geelong. What did you make of Geelong's 16 to 23 round?
No, I think I liked it. Yeah, I saw that one Friday night game against Collingwood. No, I thought the rest of the fixture was fair. We don't have any Sunday games, which is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Luke, did you look at Collingwood's? Like,
Yeah, we got
generally with-
couple of the 3 Friday nights, couple of Saturday nights. Got a Sunday mixed in there. I think might be Hawthorn. I think it was good. Like we kind of knew who, not kind of, we definitely knew who we were playing, just about the times and the time slots. I actually haven't checked if we, what sort of breaks that we have in between games, but yeah, I liked it. Like, putting the big teams on the big prime time. Like we have Carlton on a Saturday night. We got Essendon, Geelong on Friday nights. Carlton have a really good time slot as well. Even Essendon now that they've come out of fucking nowhere and third on the ladder, they've got good time. They've got given good time slots. AFL's licking their lips all the way down to the bank at the moment.
yeah, true.
We got
they haven't
Saturday,
given
I
round
just checked.
24.
Nah, they never do though. They never do. They
No, I
always
don't
do.
release that till probably around 21 or something.
Yeah.
Like a few weeks.
Yeah, depending on how it goes. That's why they did last year. They had Carlton GWS as the last game of the season because they knew it impacted a lot of the ladder.
Carlton Collingwood the year before.
The Carlton Collingwood, yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah, exactly.
And that was the last game as well, wasn't it?
It was
so good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. It was.
Might have been the last game or the second last game. Yeah.
Yeah.
They know what they're
not
fucking
for-
doing, these bastards.
Yeah, they are. I think we've just been rewarded with a lot of Sunday games. So,
Perfect.
I mean, we got our chances in good primetime slots. You don't take them, of course, you don't deserve them again. So I don't think we have any Friday nights.
Just get the graveyard shifts when there where no one's no one's watching.
Yeah.
I know our record. If you got us Sunday 4:40, anyone listening at home, you're in danger because that's where we come to play.
Didn't it happen to Carlton last year? Where when they were going poorly, when they released the second half, they only had one Friday game, and most of the other games were on Saturdays. But that way, they started improving and stuff during the graveyard.
And you had to play on a Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it. Ben, thanks for
Perfect,
just
mate.
another
Thanks,
quick
mate.
thing. Terry and Luke, do you often find yourselves at club trainings during the week?
Yeah, I go on. So I work a half day on Wednesday. So I'll go to. Oh, Jakey's gone.
Jake's cracked the shits.
Oh damn. He doesn't like those graveyard shifts. Yeah, so I work half day on Wednesday. So I'll go to Wednesday training if we have it on Wednesday. Record some footage, chat to the boys for a couple of hours, and then straight back to work.
Yeah, I was just asking this because last week I was actually at the St Kilda Footy Club for a school excursion on last Thursday, and I did see Jake there, just watching the team train and stuff. So yeah.
All right, you
Jake
come up and say g'day.
Jake and the Saints are like this, mate. He was weren't you filming there today? Weren't you filming there today?
Yeah.
At training?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say nah.
I wasn't there. Nah. Nah, actually, they had an open training today at least, so that was good.
Yeah.
Good to get around the boys and chat to Cal Wilkie.
I was just thinking that last Thursday when I was there was a few old supporters and stuff who were just there watching, and yeah, I'd love to be in their shoes, just be an old person retired and just being able to watch your team train during the week. It's something I think I enjoy.
Mate, enjoy your youth. You're still in school, enjoy your youth. You don't want to be old just yet. Trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while you can.
Well, actually, special shout out Brains Trust. They're those guys. They go to training every session. They're there. There's a group of them. They got caps with Brains Trust on them. Legends. So,
love that.
That'll be me in 30 years.
Unfortunately, Carlton don't let you just go to training unless they have.
You don't do open trainings.
They do open trainings once every while, but you can't just rock up and watch the boys train. It's not an.
Is that because they're at Icon?
Yeah, I mean,
right.
just keep everything in house and.
Interesting.
Same at Geelong, because they train in the stadium and stuff. You can't just go in Like I remember a few years
Interesting.
ago, they were training for 2019. They were training for a final series on a Saturday, and they play a bunch of like under 18s junior finals at GMHBA Stadium. The players are trained there on a Saturday morning, and they're like telling everyone, "All right, like you can't like you have to stay in the rooms. You can't even like look at the players and stuff. Like you can't like do anything and stuff." And they lost anyway, so I don't know what was the point.
Yeah.
No, beauty.
Love it.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Ben.
mate.
Questions, brother.
Legend.
Good luck on Thursday.
Cheers, Sweep. Good luck to you too.
Right.
All right. Oh, fresh guest. Jasmina.
Oh, shit, halfway through me stretching. Yeah, cool. Thanks.
You got to be ready. You got to be ready.
I'm ready.
Jazz?
I actually want.
Can you help me out here? I got ambushed
Oh,
before.
Terry, I was ready. I was like,
She was fighting in the comments, man. She was
my
fighting in
frame
the
over
comments.
here. Fucking.
you're like, hey, I'm gonna pull up right now. It's on 552. Nah. I was getting so angry. I was like, go Terry, go Terry. And I was watching you in the bottom, Terry, and I was like, he's gonna blow his lid. He's about 30 seconds away.
I was saying it. I was seeing the ticking.
The
Yeah,
blue
you can
lights
see
behind
it.
him, they were turning red.
I actually wanted to talk about the Jacob Wiedering stuff with you guys. What are we thinking, Jake?
What am I thinking? I'm thinking he's a great defender. Is he all Australian already? He is, isn't he?
No.
No, you think of Darcy
I was
Moore.
going to say having
Think of-
two all
think of
Australian
Darcy.
fullbacks
Oh,
would be nice.
yeah, okay, Swoop.
Collingwood's always there. No,
I
I'd
know.
love him, but yeah, 1.5 is a lot of money for someone that's 27. That's all I'm thinking.
26.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stop
but by
adding
the
years
time-
to his life.
But if he came to the Saints, he'd be 27. That's a lot of money for 1.5 mil. For how long was the deal? Did they say? Or did
Did
they
they
not specify?
specify?
8 years.
8 years.
8 years?
That's a lot of money for a fullback.
Anyway, he's not leaving, so don't worry about the
He's
money.
not. Nah, he's not leaving. He's not leaving. Absolutely not. There's no chance. We'll throw money at a lot of different players, but I think midfield is more important than defense right now.
You'll
So-
ask for Jacob Wiedering, and you'll end up with maybe
Who?
Jasmine, maybe Caleb.
You can have
Okay.
him. You can have
Yeah.
Caleb. Yeah.
Nah,
You
I don't
can
want to be what you guys were. I don't want to be what you guys were to GWS, getting all the rejects.
You are.
and
You
all
have
that.
Paddy
I
Dow and Liam Stocker.
You've already got 2.
Hey, Liam Stocker's a legend, and he's a great guy, and he's done well.
Great
But
guy.
he wasn't training today, so hopefully he's not injured or
No,
anything.
he
but-
wasn't training, but he was on the besties today. He was
Oh, he
definitely
was?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
no, he was there. I saw him, but he just wasn't training, so I'm hoping it's okay. Paddy Dow, he hasn't debuted yet, so I can't really.
I was gonna
give much of a
say,
verdict
isn't he meant to be
on
in
him.
this week or something? They're saying.
He's played for Sandy like the last 3 weeks, so he got like 19 on the weekend, kicked a goal. I don't know if that's enough, but our midfield's not the best going around, so put him in.
Got to do something.
Hopefully he debuts. Yeah, he's got to do something. He's got a bit of pace about him, kicking suspect as everyone says, but I think just something different. That's probably
Okay.
why they haven't brought him in, to be honest. He's getting
Well, yeah,
touches, but got to
probably.
use them. Yeah.
Probably.
That sounds all too familiar to me. Fuck.
Yeah, we're trying to leave that in the past.
We'll see. We'll see what he looks like when he runs out. Let's judge him then,
He'll be good.
or just judge him on everything you've seen.
I think he's a good player. I just don't think he was the right fit for us anymore. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I love him as a person. Like he's really nice and he's so cute. God bless. And I really like I want him to do well. So I actually want you guys to play him. I'm like kind of hanging out for it.
Yeah, I think I'd be surprised if he doesn't play this week against Freo.
Yeah, it's time.
It's pretty
It's
strong
time to
midfield.
get Paddy Wow in.
Yeah. No, we need some.
Someone
power.
in the chat goes, "Who's this? Another filth." Fair enough.
DMR. That's who Terry wants to talk.
DMR loves
Oh, get
writing
it.
in the comments. Doesn't want to come
DMR,
on.
get
Doesn't
in
wanna
here.
show his-
Why do you
doesn't
wanna
show his face, huh?
Terry face to face. Let's
Yeah,
talk
we
about
love
it.
Jazz,
Where is
someone
he?
Someone said they love your claws. Show us.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
the navy
yeah.
Look
blue. I
good.
got them
They
done
look-
today.
Oh
They
wow.
look sick.
Yeah,
They look
because I'm
sick.
going down to going to Sydney for the baggers. So
Ooh,
I was
big
like,
one.
Oh, is that
gotta
in?
get-
Oh, I didn't even realize that's in Sydney. Yeah, shit.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
in Sydney and it's on Friday.
yeah.
Oh,
So-
damn.
Yeah, I leave
Big
on
test.
Thursday morning. And then 2 weeks after that, I go to Adelaide.
Wow.
Fun.
Actually crazy.
Jazz has an incredible interstate record. Incredible.
Yeah. 12 for 12.
Really? No way.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 12 for
Far out.
12. Never seen a loss when I travel. I didn't go to the prelim, so I'm really sorry about that, everyone.
Oh my god, you're the
That's
token.
outrageous.
You're the good luck charm.
Yeah, and I've seen crazy games like the Brisbane game. We were 46 points down. Sat there in the Gabba, head between my knees, gonna cry. The girls go, Charlie's just kicked a goal. I get up. I go, oh my God, we're going to win. We were still like 40 points down at this point.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
could
it
feel
was
it.
actually insane. I was like, I have to go to every interstate game. So I'm going to every one this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
I'm
awesome.
really sorry
Yeah.
if I cop a loss, guys. I'm trying, okay?
It'll happen.
won't
It'll
lose
happen
this
one day. It's inevitable.
Not this week.
Not this way.
Oh, we still got to do
No?
our tips, boys. Hey, Jake, I've got the best punishment if you don't win this week. The
Oh,
best.
here we go.
I know exactly what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do.
Me?
If Freo beats St Kilda, we are going to play the Milne bounce frame by frame. Frame by frame.
And then dissect it to see what
And
he
then
could have done
dissect
better.
Frame by frame.
And then
and see how he
Yeah.
could have done better. That's what we'll do.
it was too far away from him.
Yes.
Simple as that. Simple as that. You know what would hurt me more? Oh, actually, I'm not even going to say because then you'll do it. That's not the most triggering thing. That's not the thing I can't watch. There's just something
You
I
want me to
can't
do it?
watch.
Oh, what is it?
He's-
Jake,
he's
you can
Matty
tell me.
Scarlett Topo.
I won't
It's the
tell them.
Topo.
You can tell me.
It's the topo. Is it?
It's the what?
It's the topo. It's the Matty Scarlett topo in 09.
It's that whole damn moment where it's the toe poke, Ablett bombs it, Chapman snaps it, game over. I always turn it off before that play. Always. I want to edit a video version where Dawson goes for the punch and he just misses it, but then it's like a cut of another ending of a game where we just kick a goal. We kick a goal and everyone celebrates. I'm like, game over. That's what I want. That's in some alternate reality. Yeah, you can do it, mate. You're good with that stuff.
I'll do it for you. I'll see what I can do for you.
Yeah.
All right. Jasmina,
Right.
we love you. We're going to leave you. Got one more. Good
I'll
night. Thanks
see
for calling
you
in.
soon. That's right.
Thank
Bye.
Bye.
Good luck with your trip.
Who's
got
next?
one more.
DMR? DMR?
Well, DMR doesn't want to come in.
DMR, you've been a bit
talk.
scared.
I want Mohammed on
Keyboard
DMR.
warrior.
DMR saw
Keyboard
Terry
warrior.
fired up and he bailed. Scared him away.
I did fire up.
Scared him
I was
away.
fucking angry.
Yeah, good. Now I know how. Now I know the buttons. This is going to be fun.
Mate, you talk shit. You're going to cop it back. That's the way
I wasn't talking shit. He staged. That's it. He milked it. He milked it. He knew what he was doing. Anyway, who's next? Who's next?
Lucinda, tell us.
Yeah.
Hello. What have you got
First
for
off,
us
that
today?
was very fiery and I enjoyed it. I'm surprised we can't be sucker punched through the screen by Terry, but he wouldn't do that.
No, he's very polite.
Getting
Yeah.
close. Well, Terry in his fixture business was worried about the whole 5-day turnaround, and I'm always trying to find positive from everything, right? So my question is it really a downside? Like, let's say, for argument's sake, like it's obviously not with the current fixture, but let's say we've got like a Carlton Collingwood situation and we've, just won that convincingly. And yeah, you have to get your body set and whatever. But if you're not waiting the extra couple of days and you're playing someone like, I don't know, Essendon the next week, is getting off the ground whilst you're still on an advantage. Like at what point is like less recovery more of a not hitting it whilst you're really positive and think you can just pick up where you left off kind of a thing?
Like the momentum, like it holds momentum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, yeah.
they can manipulate it however they want, really, can't they?
Well,
think
wasn't
it
that
just
like was it the finals where they had the week off? They kind of have that as a bit of an issue when you have a good game, you're flying into finals, then you have that week off.
Yeah.
Kind of halts all that momentum, that energy. You lose that excitement. You get into the game, and it's not the same.
Did that happen with Frio?
Was it
One
Freo
year?
who?
They stormed home. They might, correct me if I'm
then-
wrong, they might have won 8 in a row. Pavlich was on fire. They had the pre-finals
that-
bye. I
2014,
trying to think.
2015.
Was that
think so.
14? When they made the granny, or the year before? Was it the year before?
Maybe it was 2013.
Because
I feel like I remember
won it, when did they
Pavlich was
win?
on fire.
So it would have been 15 that Hawthorn beat Freo.
Yep.
That was 15.
Mhm. Yeah, because like bringing it to like season so far perspective, what I've analyzed is teams that opening rounds is a classic example. You could kind of argue that maybe round one, like whenever there's been a bye, a team, whoever it is, has had a slow quarter, so the other one will get the jump on them, and then they might get a bit level halfway, and then there's upsets because you could argue that they're rusty from the bye. So I'm like, is finishing top four and having a week off really that covered it all as much of as an advantage? I mean, sure, you could argue that Carlton ran out of steam because it was week after week after week, but they'd obviously be more experienced from the final series, and any team finals is different than a standard week. But if you find like most buys so far anyway, I've found that the teams that get surprisingly slow starting, or they get pipped, is like after they've had a bye, they're just like not performing as expected, or it's actually been more of a disadvantage. So everyone's like finished top four, week off, how wonderful. But I'm just thinking, could it actually backfire from constant activity?
Yeah.
Well, we seen
I'm-
Geelong. Weren't they notorious for losing after a bye, like during the season?
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
finals is a sort of different beast, and I guess because I experienced it last year with finishing top four, winning the first game, having the week off.
Mm-hmm.
It just helps with just the bodies. If anything, even if it halts your momentum, because finals is just all about pressure. You're rarely in the finals game by 30 plus points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all that pressure. It's all about banging bodies into each other. That Melbourne game, there was 10 minutes or so in that last quarter where no one scored because we were just, smashing the ball, trying to stop them from scoring. Then you have that week off. You can recover.
Yeah.
You can breathe. But then on the other hand, you get Carlton, who are just momentum. And for a team outside of the 8, I think obviously it helps because if you lose, you're out. But I think momentum helps a lot more. And when you're in the top 4, you got that week off pre-finals. You win the first week, then you got another week off. You're playing 2 games in 4 or 5 weeks of football. It's it is crazy.
I think it's circumstantial. Like I know Carlton last year, the pre-finals bye was amazing for a lot of players. Walshy had done a hamstring. Chera had done a hamstring. Harry was coming back from a knee. The extra week absolutely helped him. Cripps had the broken ribs, but still had the, so I think it just depends. There will always be a team that's advantaged by it and disadvantaged. But more times than not, the top 4 teams have the advantage, right? More times than not.
So with top 4, is top 4 not just avoiding getting elimination from the weeks off? It's sort of you can afford to lose because you've already got a insurance sort of situation where you can't get booted straight away. But you were just saying how you effectively get 2 weeks off, so to speak.
Yeah.
Is one of them the week before the grand final, or I'm getting that the wrong way around?
So round 24 you play.
Okay.
Then you have a week off for finals. Then you have the first week of finals. Then if you win that, then you have another week off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You skip the semi-final.
Yeah, you skip the semi. And then but then the thing with that is again different beasts for different sort of teams. The momentum that Carlton got from their semi when everyone was resting into the from their first final into the semi. Propel them into the prelim.
Yeah.
So it's just it's just whatever motivates your team. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
but again, it's you can't really pick and
That's
choose. You want to finish
circumstance.
top 4. Like that's all you want to do. But I think this year we might see a team win it from outside the top 4 again. I think it's really, really close. Really,
Yeah.
really close.
Yeah, well, that's good. No, yeah, I think that's okay. Like personally, if we finish 5th again, yeah, there's the pressure of winning every week, but they might thrive off that. So might be the new brand that they're kind of doing, but it's still like the goal to get the 4 and have the, just in case. Because with Brisbane, I mean, if you look at the first quarter, once we have all the extra inside 50s, it's basically how tall is a Brisbane guy and they're marking behind us. But you can also argue across the rest of the match, we had 8 behinds. I don't know how many were spoiled. So how many were genuine misses and how many were, stuffed. And so it's 3 or 4 kicks in it that you can't really blame the first quarter and tall guys like making it so that you can't have an advantage. So, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but they learn. And if they turned just missing out in 22 into a prelim, then we're living in exciting and or scary for other people times. Sorry in advance, guys. More for you, Luke, maybe.
Amazing. Hey, Lucinda, thanks for calling in. I love
No
the new
worries.
Thanks, Lucinda.
Thanks.
See you later.
See ya.
See you later. Bye.
God, I hope we beat you in round 24 now.
Why?
Oh, what she was saying, yeah, scary times, more for you, Luke. Like, we're out of the picture. We don't get. We'll have our day. We'll have our day.
we'll have our day.
We will.
All right, who's our lock for this week, guys?
Oh yeah.
I got to look at what are the games, eh? Locks. Is there such a thing in current football?
Are we doing punishments again?
Yeah.
That was fun.
I'll tell you what. Thursday night, Gold Coast against Geelong. TIO Stadium, is it?
There's no way you're going the Suns.
I'll tell you what, that would not surprise me. I'm not saying they're the lock, but it would not surprise me if they do something against the Cats on Thursday night.
Cats don't have Hawkins and
They
Cameron
don't have
this
Hawkins
week, right?
and Cameron. And the Suns finally, although it was against North, got their confidence back. Had a good big win. Ben King's on fire. No. It's just one of those
I think
games.
the Suns stayed in Darwin as well from last week.
Yeah, so they'll be suited to the conditions very well. That would not surprise me at all.
All right.
Maybe the early season form from Geelong is starting to peter a little bit because this would be 3 losses in a row, wouldn't it? If they lose,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. After being 7-0.
off the back of being 7-0.
Wow.
So that could be big. What else have we got? These
You
are
know
some
what
good
wouldn't
games.
surprise me? What wouldn't surprise me is fucking, and this is going to sound crazy. It might be the gin and tonics I've been sipping on. North against the Bombers.
I'm with you.
Yeah?
Well, that
Marvel?
game, but
With
that
you.
game's like its own derby of sorts. Like they've got such
Yeah.
history. They always have bangers. Wasn't it last year Essendon won by a goal and North and them? They always kick. Both teams always kick pretty much over 100 points. Larky always kicks 6. It was last year. It was like one of the games of the year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
only
that's
thing
no
I'm
bad
not
call.
Gotta knock them off.
Another thing, like you really want them to win, and then you watch them, and you're like, God, they just don't have 4 quarters in them.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the
bless
thing.
them. they just can't.
Are we too? Is that you, Luke, saying you're maybe too afraid or too reluctant to say Essendon maybe are better than what they are because of what they did?
Yeah,
if they were the old Essendon, they would have lost last week, and they didn't. They won.
yeah,
True.
yeah.
So how much? We've got to give them credit at some point.
I don't know when. I don't know when I'm going to start. I don't even know how they're third, to be honest. Like, I don't know when I'm going to start giving the Bombers credit. You probably, I
how
probably
much?
should,
Because
but
their draw in the next 5 weeks is favourable, very favourable.
course,
They could
yeah.
be 10-3 or whatever their record could be in the next 4 or 5 weeks. It's going to be top 2 sort of level if they win the games they should, which is nuts.
fucked. That's fucked.
But if they lose this week, I wouldn't. Marvel Sunday 110. It's going to be an
I'm
interesting
going to watch
one.
that.
Giants.
You know what? Fuck
Giants,
it.
Dogs.
I'm saying North. I'm saying North. That's my
You're doing it.
upset for the week. Yep.
Upset
You're
for the
going
week.
Go
North.
hard, go hard or go home. Hey, I said I was going to wear a Carlton jersey last week, so I'm going hard or going home.
Oh,
I'm
so
gonna
wait,
wear it going home.
are we
So
doing?
you're going to wear a Carlton jersey if
Oh
North
no,
don't
no,
win?
no. I'll,
I was going to say, just get one already.
That was just last. That was just last.
Yeah.
Week.
Okay.
Can my tip
think
for the
it'll
week
finish.
and lock for the week be? And sorry, can my upset for the week and lock for the week be my own team?
Yeah. You think
Yeah, I
they'll
guess
beat
so.
Sydney?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess you
we'll
could. You could. Yeah,
I
you
reckon
could.
we'll beat the Swans. We'll upset the Swans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Done. And Jake, who are you going with?
I reckon is this upset of the week?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Upset
back.
or
I'm
lock.
backing. I mean, what are the? I just got to check the odds for this game, whether it's actual upset. I mean, Suns are 210, Cats are 170, so it's still pretty tight. Technically upset.
Oh, and there's no Jeremy Cameron, right?
No, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna go. And no Hawkins, right?
No Cameron and no Hawkins. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
going
I didn't know
lock
that.
Suns. Lock. If there's ever a time to beat Geelong, surely for the Suns, it is now.
All right.
And they've never lost at that ground before, I believe. Wooden Spoon Data is coming in with the
Suns
stats
have
there.
never lost at TIO.
Never lost.
Wow.
I don't know how many games they've played there, but I reckon surely most people wouldn't be surprised if the Suns win. Surely. Like, it's not that outrageous with the injuries
No, it's not
that
that
they have.
outrageous.
No,
But
not
it'd just be
outrageous.
interesting
And the conditions
to
as
see
well. It's
Geelong
a
lose.
factor.
Yeah, it's
way
one of
that
those
they're
games.
clean, the way that they were clean in the slippery, dewy, humid conditions. That's going to be a factor, surely.
Yeah, and Geelong like to play that high possession, control the footy. They're not going to really be able to do that in those conditions, which might favour the Suns running and just ballistic sort of game plan. West Coast beat Melbourne, lock it in. Where's that
Wow,
game being
there's a
played?
couple. There's a couple of you in here.
That's 6:20 at Optus Stadium on Sunday.
Ooh, that's the Harley Reid
Is it a
moment.
danger game?
For Melbourne, yeah, after what they put up last week. West Coast
Yeah,
played in the second half. I guess the game was dead, but they played okay. Like kept us to 5 goals. 5 goals for the second half.
that's not
So
bad.
3 goals
Yeah.
in the third and 2 goals in the fourth. I know, game was dead, blah blah blah. But their ground balls have been really, really, really good recently. Their contested ball, I'm pretty sure they get Waterman. They're not going to get McGovern back, I don't think, but Waterman, maybe Yo as well. I think so. They'll get a
That's
couple
big.
of players back.
Yeah,
And
and they've been good there.
Melbourne
They've
are
been good
just
at
one of
Optus
those
'cause
teams that,
yeah,
the crowd's with them.
the crowd's with them. Yeah, it would surprise me, but I'll probably
Interesting.
I'm sticking with Suns.
I was looking today that the last time a team went winless in the AFL was Fitzroy, and I think it was 1964. 0 wins, 18
Yeah?
losses. That was the last winless team. So I don't know. I think North knock them off. I think Essendon are going to get too much of a big head.
You only need to be off 5 or 6% to lose a
Literally.
game.
Yep.
It's crazy
Yep.
in this league. You just a little bit too ahead of yourself.
North's run, Bombers, Port, West Coast away. So I'd back West Coast there. Collingwood, Melbourne, Dogs, Gold Coast, Sydney, Carlton, Geelong. Then they've got Richmond in like round 20. So that's their best bet. Then they've got West Coast at home, Bulldogs, then Hawthorn. So their last 3 or 4 games, there's some potential wins in there if they get going. But yeah, imagine going a full year without winning.
Yeah, wow.
Like,
Would be fun to see.
Oh, we nearly did.
but
We won 2 games in
actually-
2018. We nearly did it.
with what North has done, surely that just can't happen, right? Like, they can't go 23 games without winning.
They're playing atrocious footy.
They have to win a
playing
game.
it.
With
They have to.
Clarko,
They have to.
How with Clarko, with a Coleman, with a
It's the personnel.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
crazy. It's
We
just
did say this
crazy.
last year about West Coast until they won their, or did they? They didn't win early in the year, did they? No.
I don't
I
think
can't
so. I
remember.
think they were saying it this year as well. At the start of the year, West Coast weren't
Yeah.
going to win the game.
Yeah.
No, West Coast is showing a lot more than North. A lot more. Sydney by
Teresa.
20 plus, or I'll donate money on Terry's stream next Footy Abroad stream.
Cool. How good's that?
Yeah, fair enough. That's easy money.
Take the boys out for coffee and some scrambled
Yeah,
eggs.
let's do it. Yeah, scrambled eggs, no butter.
Oh no, because you guys won, so you couldn't.
Oh, that was
eat them.
It was
He would have
close.
been he would have been in Rustica just eating it up, going, "This is beautiful. Bring me another one on the house. Let's go. Come on." Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. All
Good
right.
fun.
There's some good games there, though. This is a big round.
I can't believe we've gone for over 2 hours. That was
Oh
amazing.
my God, I didn't even realize.
Record.
It was
Record,
crazy.
record.
Crazy.
It's a record.
Crazy.
We're getting bigger and better every week.
Well, we got fiery. I love it.
Yeah, that's what we want. I know.
Can't call your boys
Very
cheats.
nice.
You got to stick up for your boys when they get called cheats. You know, it's just the way it
100%.
goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that might be it. I think that might be a wrap on a big 2-hour Footy Abroad. We covered some massive topics. There was some fire. There was some laughter. There was a monologue. There was everything, boys. And
too
a
happy
lot
for
of
a
comments. Hey?
You're too happy for a loss. I thought you'd be down the dumps after that over the weekend.
This is my break. This is where I get to have a bit of fun, you know? This is where I can come in and let loose and have some banter, and it's good to see the comments are flowing. I think this is the most active comment section we've
think
had
so.
so far,
Absolutely.
by a long shot.
Yeah.
They just keep coming through. It's hard not to just. I mean, what's the comment of the night?
Comment of the night.
That
Definitely
would be
people
hard
telling
to
me to go
spot.
and cry. Gigi,
DMR?
I will cry. I will cry for my boys. I promise you. I will cry, and I will die for my boys when they get called cheats. I
100%.
promise you that.
Yeah, 100%.
I
I
guarantee
love
it.
that there's always some sort of like, I mean, what's the biggest hate comment that I've got on here? What's this one?
Don't highlight your hate.
No, I can't. Oh, you got to
also-
bring it on. That's what I say.
Just before we go, you guys tuning into Spurs Man City at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning?
Yes, I've got my alarm on. Let's go. Let's go Spurs. Let's go
Up the coys,
Spurs.
huh?
Well, mate, the Gooners, we're doing all the right things, and if City win it, they win it. What annoys me, and this might be a topic, an AFL topic down the line in a weird situation, but I still can't believe Spurs fans that are going to the stadium wanting City to dispatch their own team.
Yeah.
That is just topic for another time, but that's disgusting. Even Ange Postecoglou's come out and said, we're here to win. He can't believe that. He's like, don't rock up to the stadium if you want us to lose.
Mate, Man City 5-0.
You reckon,
Well, they got a lot of outs.
watch Sun score like 4 own goals, you know? This is, I mean, if Arsenal's going to win the title and it's because of Spurs, mate, and you know what? We've won the league at White Hart Lane before. Imagine another team winning the league for us at White Hart Lane or at Spurs Stadium or wherever it might be. It's got it written in the stars somewhere.
Does it?
Somewhere.
I feel like we're going to
Do you
wake up
reckon? Do you reckon
tomorrow.
it's 3-0 and they've done it?
Yeah, I
reckon
mean,
that's
City
it?
have to win to win the league essentially. So I think they've got. I don't know.
Who do you guys have last day?
We've got Everton at home and we'll belt them.
Yeah.
And we got West Ham.
You got
away,
West
I
Ham.
think.
No, you got them at home. I
Oh,
think
sick. Oh yeah, we do
both
have
teams
them
have got
home.
home
Yeah,
games. So this
Oh,
is
fuck, so we've got
pretty
this-
much this is the title decider. This game.
The next Footy Abroad show will be after the Premier League is completed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Even if we don't win it, a lot of progress. So
Biggest
all you wanna
biggest
see.
point tally in Arsenal history, hey?
Most wins we've ever had.
Most wins.
27
Yeah.
wins already. Probably 28. Yeah. One of the youngest managers, one of the youngest squads, and really with no dedicated striker, which everyone said was a problem. And King Kai's come in and done a job, which has been awesome. So very, very happy with where we're at. 115 reasons City's going to win it. Yeah, 115.
I'll
What a
be
disgrace.
stunned if Tottenham win tomorrow morning. Completely.
Mate, they don't even need to win. It could be a 3-3. We
be a
always know
3-3.
with Spurs, they've got goals. Spurs have got goals
And Spurs,
always.
yeah, they're
They'll
like
leak, but they'll score.
notorious against us.
They have a very good
fine in
record
our
against
back.
City.
Yeah,
They still have a chance for Champions League if Aston Villa slip up in the last day and they win their next two. They can still get there. And they've been out of form for so long. So you're looking at like the percentages. You're like, they've lost the last 4 or whatever. And Ange needs to win. Like people forget, it's his job. He can't lose these next 2 games and go into the next season.
At some point.
They're going to do everything to win. Absolutely, they're professionals. So the fans
Inshallah.
think they're gonna bottle it.
Inshallah.
But nah.
Inshallah, fingers crossed.
Is there a sound to close the show? Do we have we don't have any special sounds to close the show on that note?
Stand by. We do.
He's got one. What do you got? What do you got? Oh no.
We
What's
do
he got?
actually.
What is it? Ah! That's brilliant.
Ladies and gents.
On that note,
a
we're
pleasure.
done.
love ya.
The
Up, Mags.
Up the Blues.
Up the Saints.